Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petrow, and joining me on the program this week is Mark Cowell and Charles Fernandes. We go over our reviews of Nightmare Alley, The Matrix Resurrections, and Hawkeye, as well as Mark tells you all about his comic book collection. He's been going through it, kind of reading what stories inspired what's been on the screen for the last 20 years, and he's realized he's got some fucking gems in there. He's got a first edition of when the character Beta Ray Bill was introduced. So that's the first half of the show. We follow up the second half with our mini debates, our real talk, if you will. You've got best James Bond title song. So who did the best version of those sexy intros? Was it Tina Turner? Was it Adele? Who was it? Let us know. What do you guys think? We also dip into the Beavis and Butthead reboot. Awkward sex scenes and why. Were they awkward because of who you were with, or were they awkward just because that person's got a giant zit on their ass? And the $5,000 price tag at Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge All-Inclusive in the Star Cruiser. Would you pay that much to go do such a thing? I know I paid for the lesser version. I didn't have the Star Cruiser when I went, but I would pay that much, I think. And if not, what movie-themed all-inclusive getaway would you pay that much for? So that's what's on the show. That's who's on the show. One little item to update. Feels good to say it until the next time I have to. TheRealDebaters.ca is back in motion, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to listen to us, subscribe to us, look at us, our cast bios are there, or rate us, Podchaser app, top left corner, hit 1 through 5 stars. You can do that at therealdebaters.ca. And we would love it if you're a fan, if you're from Winnipeg, if you're just passing through and you're like, hey, next time do this and I'll come back and listen to you. Go to that website, rate the show, let us know who you are. Even send us an email, therealdebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling, REEL, for all of our marketing. I don't have anything else. So without further ado, I will cue the reel and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome everyone to the official space section of the charter.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Sir, you're out of order. Out of order? I show you out of order!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Real Debaters podcast production. I am Michael Petrow.
I am Charles Fernandes.
I am Mark Cowell.
And this is where real life meets real life, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year.
Real to real.
This is our first one of the year, gentlemen.
Yes.
It's been like 3 weeks, I think, since we all last kind of.
Yeah.
I think the last thing we all did together was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Which, if we talk about today, Martin will get very upset.
Yes, fair enough.
Because we all went to see it.
Sounds good. We're going to talk about it.
It was so bad.
This is the worst movie ever. We are planning something very soon for all the people who've seen Spider-Man on the show to do something via Zoom and in person or whatever.
Debaterverse?
A debaterverse. A debaterverse of Spider-Verse.
Into the debaterverse.
Via Spider-Verse. Via an off-ramp to Spider-Verse, exactly. We are going to do something like that. But that's not what you're going to listen to today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to kick off 2022 with a real talk, with an easy conversation. We've got some fun topics for you here today. So before we get into that, it's been 3 weeks. 2 of those weeks was Christmas.
It's been
1 week.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
That was good. Mark that down.
Mark that down. Boom. That's just a point right off the hop. Thank you, Bare Naked Ladies. I want to know, we've had so much time to watch so much shit. So, Charles, what did you watch over the Christmas break? Oh, God.
I mean, there's so much. There's so much. Oh, man. I mean, maybe I'll just talk about it briefly here. But
there's nothing brief with you, motherfucker.
No,
Stop lying
isn't.
in the new year.
We don't need to like super deep dives.
No, there's
stuff.
no deep dives.
I'll just say, I'll just make mention, something that I watched just because it angered me, and that's different, right? Something I watched that actually very
Talk
much
about your
angered
feelings.
me was Matrix Resurrections.
Talk about it. Go.
I mean,
because we've been all talking in the chat
like
about it.
15 hours doing this, but Ian said it really funny. We bumped into each other there watching it, and then it was like we both had to throw up when it was over. Oh man.
So it was a shared puking experience in the Silver City washroom after?
Yeah. And it was like crying and you're confused.
Were you in a stall together consoling each other? You just couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't have. Okay, so
No, it's just
all
like-
right. What's so bad about it? Because it did get.
It's insulting. Like it's insulting to the original trilogy. It's insulting to the original. It's insulting to the Matrix. It's insulting to the fans. It's just shit. It's garbage.
Wow.
It's like I was like, hey, have you heard of the Matrix? Maybe. Okay, you get to make a movie.
Well,
Yeah.
it is the one Wachowski.
Yeah, see, and that's a big red flag because the fact that like they made it together
Mike
as a
Wazowski?
team.
Lana?
I think it's Lana, and I hate that I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't know the other sister.
Well, the other
but-
sister didn't come back, so she hasn't been in the news.
That's right, and that was kind of a red flag for me because the thing is too, right? Is
was a
like
tag
you
team.
kind of like you kind of want, and the fact that they made it as a team together, and like the fact that even they had a conflict. Maybe it wasn't a conflict, but there was a reason that one of them didn't want to come back, and I feel like they made the right choice in that scenario.
It was the other one's vision that made the other one. The first movie is good.
I don't know. All I know is that I think everyone that even made that movie happen felt the same way fans is. When you, at least for me, I love the original Matrix. I love the trilogy so much that just hearing something new Matrix, you believe in it so much that you're like, I need it to be good.
Yeah,
know?
you get pre-invested.
And then you hope that like if I tell myself like I did that a lot with Spider-Man 3. Like I was in shock when it came out because like everybody you were so hyped. It wasn't great. But I was telling everyone, like, no, it's good. Like, they got it. And then after, like 6 months, you're like, what happened? Why is Venom only in it for 5 minutes? Right? And then it's one of those. But this is like, I just felt like the best way to describe is I just felt insulted as a fan.
Does the story, without ruining, because it's still fairly recent, some people might want to
Yeah,
take
I don't want to
but like, okay,
right.
what is this? Does the story have a lot to do with what we already know in 3 movies?
Yeah, like it's... Ugh.
This is why I never watched it in the first place.
Yeah, see, because I
part
thought
of
it would be
what's
funny to
insulting.
go with Mark to see the most recent one.
Oh my God, no!
and work backwards with him though.
Oh. But he might hate it forever. Like if your first Matrix experience is that one,
but we can say it can only get better.
that is true. It can't. I promise you 1,000%, it will only get incredible from there.
Okay, I was talking with Aaron last night because we went to go see a movie.
Okay, yeah.
And he had seen Resurrections too. Is it Resurrections?
Yeah.
Okay. And I said to him, I haven't seen it, but my guess is that the drive and the tech that was invented to make it, like,
Yeah.
they made the bullet cam out of multiple digital cameras.
Pure innovation.
So you make it with, you Frankenstein it,
Yes,
essentially.
totally.
But now,
Yeah.
one camera can do that.
Yes.
Or 4 or 5 cameras can
Yes.
do that. So the beauty of the original 3 with the filmmaking of them and
Yeah.
how they made them and the special effects and the CGI that they mavericked, essentially,
Totally.
isn't in this one because they're just like, go to the computer after, which is ironic because it's about going to the computer.
And what's worse is like even like what I told people is at least with the original one or the original trilogy, even if you don't like it or whatever, there's at least a sequence or something where you're like, but that action scene or this action thing.
But that thing
this
on the
one
train
has nothing. And the build up to the big action scene, nothing happens. It's awful, man. It's so bad. Like there's not even something I can tell you. Like, you know how like normally in an action movie you can be like the movie was garbage, but there was this one cool shot.
Yeah.
Or this death
There's
was
some
cool.
redeeming quality.
Nothing. For me at least. Nothing.
It's weird because I haven't watched it, but I read a couple quick reviews, and some people said, "Oh, it does a lot of fan service." And then in hearing from you, it's like, no,
I felt
it
super insulting.
told fans to go fuck themselves.
I literally felt like it was
Take
like
a red pill and suck a dick.
the fan service was like they mentioned bullet time. Yeah, it's very. That's what I don't like about it.
They actually
It's-
broke the 4th wall and mentioned bullet.
but in a bad way, not in like a cool Deadpool way. In a way where it's like you're watching a movie right now called The Matrix. Isn't that weird? Are we in the Matrix watching The Matrix? Isn't that weird? What if that was happening right now? Are
that
you
would
in
be
the
awesome,
Matrix?
though, if it was done like you just did.
If I just did it now. That right there.
I'll watch that.
That's a smooth architect right there, right?
Yeah,
that's
that's
like
smooth
right.
operator.
Yeah. No, and you know what, Mark? Funny enough, thank you. But what I just did was better than that whole movie. Like,
I've seen The
I'm
Matrix.
not trying to
I'm
toot
good.
my own horn. I'm just saying that's how bad it was.
You should do a one-man play of The Matrix Resurrections for 20
in that
Oh my
voice
God.
and tone.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Hey Neo, wear your glasses. So cool.
Just commentary, not the
No,
dialogue.
yeah, I'm just. Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, that's funny.
I'd buy that.
I'd
know-
buy a season pass for that.
Well, funny enough, Claudia even asked. She's so funny, but she was like, Charles, if you downloaded it, is there a way you could do a cut or it could maybe make
a
it
fan cut.
good. And I was like, no, that's how bad it is. And I'm not trying to say like I'm the best editor in the world. I'm sure the best editor could do maybe something. But I'm telling you, I don't even have the patience to go through that shit to try and see if I could make it something good. I even told Claudia, I'm like, Claudia, give me the action scene that I would include in it. And even she was like, yeah, I don't. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing I can do with that.
All right, one more thing before because I've never seen you angry before at a film. Like
man.
you're like me. You're like I'll suck any dick as long as it's clean. And this one, you were like, nope. Nope, not taking it.
Come on, what did someone ask in our group chat? Hey, I almost went to watch it. I'm like, the universe saved you your money. Don't watch it in the theater. Don't. Like, I get you want to watch it.
Oh yeah, Rob
was
asked,
really
right?
excited.
Rob
I know, and
really
I felt
invested.
bad, but I was like, I have to protect you. Like, I feel bad, but I feel like I'm also going to protect you because, like, I felt that's part of my anger. I want to support these movies and give my money. Not that one.
Not that one.
Should have downloaded that one. Like, fuck.
Okay, Morpheus.
So, like, out of spend your money at the theater to go see it in IMAX, or use your neighbor's Wi-Fi to pirate it.
God.
Where are you ranking?
Oh my God. So I went to IMAX, which is funny enough. Yeah. No, use your office's Wi-Fi. Use the Starbucks' Wi-Fi to download
Go
this
to the
movie.
street corner
Yeah.
and get your shot.
And use a burner phone or laptop so you can leave it there while it's downloading.
So
You
that
can just
there's
leave.
no trace.
Oh God.
It's erased from history
Yeah.
that you even did
It's like
it.
the one movie where if it gets pirated, they're like, awesome. Someone's watching it maybe.
Like they've switched.
They're going to release the gross pirated numbers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Where's the Blockbuster? No, just gross pirated.
Yeah. Like
37 million downloads on Pirate Bay.
So Morpheus is bad. Like, 'cause
Oh.
is he a different
That's-
version? Is he
Okay.
like what's the
This also spoil quickly because it's so dumb and it's right in the beginning. So Morpheus is dead, but it's
It's a copy
So-
of a copy.
what it is oh God, how do I do this without really spoiling? Neil got put back into the Matrix, and the way that they thought they could dupe him is he is the best game designer in the world. Guess what game he designed?
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
So all the events of the trilogy happened in this game trilogy, and his game designer friends or other people reference bullet time. Hey, like at one point they're like, hey, Tom, because everyone calls him Tom because he's not Neo. Hey, Tom, red pill or blue pill, am I right? And they're doing that.
They're duping him.
Oh, it's so bad.
That sounds
It's,
horrible.
oh, dude, it's so. They even make so at one point the characters are discussing because the whole thing is Tom. There hasn't been a Matrix game in 20 years, so they're like, Tom, we want you to make Matrix 4, and the whole movie is like, am I gonna make Matrix 4? What is it even gonna be about? And at one point, the development team are discussing reboot or remake. Yeah, man.
Oh God.
Yeah, man. And if it was Deadpool, like if it was something like clever, you'd be like, oh, I see what they're doing. But it's not clever. It's insulting. And it's awful.
How many?
And so Morpheus, sorry, you asked Morpheus. He's in it,
Yeah.
but it's a programmed version of Morpheus.
Okay, that's what I was
from Thomas's memory. But the actor who plays it,
Yes.
this is what I will say. He's so awesome. If they were to actually say redo the Matrix and they wanted to say make him that Morpheus in that version, I think he would have been amazing.
the hell's his name? He was in the Watchmen.
Candyman. He's our new
Watchmen.
Candyman,
He's
Watchmen.
Three
yeah.
names. I cannot.
But anyways, yeah, I know.
he's so good.
So that's what's insulting. I mean about it is like they brought Neo back. Like they brought Keanu playing an old Neo. They brought Carrie-Anne Moss. They don't bring Lawrence Fishburne, but then bring Morpheus back. Like someone else do it. Why?
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I gotta know this guy's name before we move on.
It's
here.
just
Who is he in Watchmen?
He was Dr. Manhattan.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yaha
awesome.
Abdul
He's awesome.
Mateen II.
that's right. Yeah.
Fuck, was he good as
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah.
And like a sleeping Dr. Manhattan, so to speak.
But so
Not Dr. Manhattan.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dr.
right.
Manhattan walks into a bar is one of the best episodes
yeah.
in that whole series.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I'm catching up with you while you are omniscient.
Yeah.
You are omnipresent, basically.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's a mind fuck, that episode where he talks about like all times at once. Like,
Yeah.
oh, right now you're doing this, and I'm like, what the fuck?
But then it's happening.
Yeah, where is that happening? No, not where. When?
Yeah, that's
So
my
that
favorite.
So it's really like the writers were like, what if you could have a conversation with this all-knowing, like God?
Yeah.
What would that really be
Yes,
like? Because that's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because he would talk, but you're like so under his level.
Good old Damien.
What the hell is he even talking about, right?
Yeah.
But
As soon as you get into a conversation with him, like your left quadrant of your brain just melts.
You're like, oh, I am the dumbest
I forget. I'm
person
tapping
alive.
out. I'm tapping out. All right. All right. To summarize, how many armless sunglasses out of 10 do you give?
Oh,
Even Mark knows that and he hasn't seen it.
Oh, how many long black trench coats?
yeah,
Yes.
long. Negative 25.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like I told people, like I put it in the same vault as like I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but the Fantastic Beasts, Cursed Child, they don't really exist in my world of Harry Potter because I don't like them.
Yeah.
So for
okay.
me, this movie just doesn't exist.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
just pretending it never happened.
No, it ends with Revolutions the way it was supposed to.
All right.
At least Neo's story. And I'm like, I'm at a point now where sell the Matrix to people that care about it and want to make it great. Because it's a fucking universe. There's a lot of story there. There's a lot they can explore. The Animatrix gave us a little taste of that, and it was great. Like I told people, I'm like,
Animatrix was fun.
I know. I told people, I'm like, you
Yeah.
want Matrix 4? Rewatch the Animatrix.
Yeah.
It's
no.
way
the game
way
and the
better.
game used a little bit of the Animatrix
Totally.
in it too. That was
See,
fun to play.
They were already trying to do universe building like that on different mediums when no one was really doing it. It was ahead of its time. Now is the time to do it.
yeah, late to the
Especially
party.
with, like video games, like the Matrix video game makes more sense than movies at this point.
If you're gonna make Neo a video game designer, you should have made a spin-off video game with
See,
this.
man,
To like,
and like totally.
maybe would have helped.
And what kills me is Warner Brothers is the kind of studio because the movie did so poorly. They're like, well, Matrix is done. Nobody likes Matrix, I guess.
Yeah, don't blame yourselves
Right?
or anything.
So they're just gonna throw it away, and I'm like, that's what kills me. Is I'm like, just sell it,
but
sell it away like Star Wars. Let
here's
somebody do something.
here's the silver lining. Here's the Bradley Cooper silver lining playbook.
I like that.
I will go next with my watch because it is very Bradley Cooper. But in the media tour
Yeah.
for Matrix Resurrections,
Yeah.
he was asked by Colbert if he could revisit a character. What character would
Oh.
Keanu Reeves want to revisit? And he said Constantine.
Yeah,
I saw
man.
that.
So
Oh,
if anything good comes from the Resurrections, it's people
Yeah.
talking and going, could we do it? Because Constantine graphic novels
Well,
got a lot of length.
Warner Brothers is also. I've heard again my nerd resources. I'm hearing rumors that they're obsessed with what happened with Spider-Man, and doing like villains from other universe. So the rumor I heard is they might be doing Dark Justice League, which is like evil, and Constantine has a lot to do with that. And I heard they
Yeah, because
might
he's
want to
DC.
they might want to bring the TV show Constantine and Keanu's Constantine, and it's like these Constantines need to work together to take
Is that
down
like
or
a young
something.
Constantine?
Yeah,
Is it at 3 o'clock
teens-
after school?
Yeah, these crazy teens, Constantines, you damn Constantine.
Constantine, Constantine.
No, but I heard like, and it's part of because he like said he wanted to revisit, and again, like I'm sure I saw that interview,
Yeah.
and he said he's been trying to, and it's been no, but now that they realize, oh, the people that are paying us this money to watch,
They
these
dropped
things,
it in the ether. It'll
yeah,
get talked
man.
about.
Listen to your fan base,
Yeah.
For
And like
sure.
bring another possession into it.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
him go hard with the devil
Well,
again.
and what's cool is you get, because a lot of people that had issues with Keanu, like I personally never read the Constantine graphic novels.
Neither
My
did I.
experience
Yeah.
to Constantine was Keanu, so I didn't realize he was this British guy with blonde hair. That's apparently the comic book version, so that's what the TV show did. That's their Constantine. So then they can honor it, make the fans of the OG comics happy, and then you have this movie universe version, which Keanu, and boom.
Boom, done next. I like it.
Do we get like the crossovers of all the Bat verses too?
See, that's what I would hope. I mean, they're kind of doing that with Flash, I assume. This next Flash movie, Michael Keaton's in it.
Well,
Ben
now he's in
Affleck's in
now
it.
he's in Batgirl too.
Yeah, but can you do
What?
one and not do others?
Yeah, I agree. But
You know?
but this is why the Warner Brothers, again, their creative decisions, they don't have a Kevin Feige, or at least they don't listen to theirs. So they just see what Marvel did and they're like, do that.
And turn the lights
Yeah,
out.
do that. Whatever character you want, just do it now, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't understand there's actually a thought process to these things, right? Like
A rigorous,
right.
like deep dive and love and lore of characters that DC and Warner Brothers just will never fully understand.
Marvel was great in the comics, still is, about continuing stories across multiple different platforms.
Yes.
And dropping a hint here and then a mention there and then
Totally. Yeah.
Here's your fan service.
Yeah.
I'm recently getting back into comics, and I'm realizing how it really did that.
Yeah, talk about
The
your
first mention of, the first appearance of, the first cameo of.
talk about the gift you bought yourself for
Awesome.
Christmas.
Oh God, no! I shouldn't tell Chrissy about it, and she still doesn't.
That's okay.
know.
She doesn't listen to every episode, does she?
Just skip this.
Yes, I got back into comics. You know what? Maybe I'll do this instead of what I watched.
Sure. Yeah.
This is what I read,
one. Oh, I love it.
or this is what I did over the holidays. So spurred on
Yeah.
my love of the MCU. I dug out my old comics from the 80s, dipping a little into the 70s, and then some just into the early 90s. And just started reviewing going through what I had, seeing what I had actually. So when I was young, I bought a lot of comics. My uncle was a collector. And at that time, kind of talked to me about how comics from the 30s and 40s were now worth a lot of money in the early 80s.
Right.
So I knew, this is really awesome. Detective Comics was this, Amazing Fantasy, all these old comics.
Yeah.
But not realizing that the age I was living in would then, be that at one time.
Yeah, it's like the prime.
Yeah.
like prime comic
So
book.
I started going to the store with him. Like, we used to go down to Book Fair every Saturday morning, and I'd buy new releases. I'd buy different, a lot that I didn't read, but they were the new things coming out.
Yeah.
And he kind of instilled in me at one time that this is going to be something, because they're constantly releasing different characters and blah, 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 blah.
For sure.
So now going back and I don't even know what I had. Like, I knew I was big into G.I. Joe and Transformers all around.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
those comics I actually read when I bought them. So I knew I had some of those. But going back into my archive of like Thors and Fantastic Four and X-Men and New Mutants, and so, going through and linking I'm like, these are all the storylines. So I'm kind of doing it opposite. I didn't read the stories when I bought them.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I watched the movies, and I'm like, holy fuck, like there's all of these plots and characters in the movies, and I have the first appearance of this character. I have this whole plot line, and
It's wild.
it's neat going back and seeing that, and then and learning about the spec market now, about what characters MCU is going to be releasing, because I mean that didn't exist back then. Like, they were cool characters and you collected them for that reason, but now it's a big spec market about, okay, well, who's going to become who's going to enter the universe and become part of the zeitgeist.
Is there a Vegas line on this?
Potentially, right? Who's going to become
Yeah.
part of the zeitgeist? What's going to be a great character? And
Yeah.
then their first appearances and things are going to become hugely collectible.
Well, and you were mentioning X-Men, man. That's huge, because right
Yeah.
now, that's the big one.
Right.
When are we getting these X-Men? We know they're coming.
X-Men, Fantastic
When are
Four,
we getting
mutants in general.
See? Like,
Yeah.
totally, right? Like, and it's going to be cool to see, because I know that team is going through the very first generation X-Men to now, right? They're going to grab whatever they can, because it's going to be very, very interesting to see
X-Men,
how they do this.
Uncanny X-Men,
all of it.
X-Men Marvel combo finally.
And
Like,
then now they have House of X, I think, was a big, and a lot of people are thinking those are the later ones. I think they came out within the last 5 years. A lot of people think that's the way they're bringing in the X-Men, and I'm familiar with them, but I haven't read them yet.
when
but
they stake
I hear
claim,
they're really good.
and they put that flag down and go, here's our marker.
Yeah.
That's going to tell you so much, right? Because the smart play is to incorporate as much as possible. So to go back as far into the comics that you're talking about, Mark, and really do it. But how do you do that with such a current version?
Yeah.
Right? Like your original current version of the 90s didn't start there.
Yeah.
So, but now that you can start there,
Right.
how do we? Through multiverses? Because it's the easiest route. It's the
Yeah.
low-hanging fruit, so
Yeah.
to speak.
But what's neat too, Mark, that you were saying is that, like, what I love is that up until I would say maybe a couple of years ago, Scarlet Witch and Vision, like when we were kids, if someone dropped Scarlet Witch and Vision, people were like, "Huh?" or "So." They weren't characters that you were like, "Yeah," you
Yeah.
know. So now that Scarlet Witch is becoming this character that
Well, you
she
even know
is-
when they first introduced like Wanda and
Yeah.
Petrow,
Right.
They weren't important characters.
That's right. And even the way they did it, you're just like, okay, so they're like Nazis, basically.
Yeah.
They're like the subject of evil Nazis with trying to make superpower. Okay, whatever. Fine. right?
Boom, move on.
But what's cool is, like, for all you know, you could have the comic that has the first appearance of Scarlet Witch, and all of a sudden that is worth a lot of money now.
Yeah, because over here,
Yeah.
they went, let's do this.
Yeah.
This is why didn't they do enough over here?
That's right.
Let's do something now.
It's also demand of character.
I'm finding through this collection, what's amazing is I'm going, okay, these are all these cool. I'm going to do the opposite of what a lot of comic book nerds did, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
went from the comic books like, please do this. I want to see this appear in the movies.
Yeah.
I watched all these movies and I loved the character. I knew the characters, but
Yeah.
I didn't know a ton of the plots.
Right.
And the stories. So now I'm watching the movies and then I'm going back to my collection. I'm going, oh, I got this and I have this storyline.
How is that feeling?
Oh, it's awesome. You go through the covers, right? And you're looking at different I don't know which ones really stood out to me, but a couple different plot lines of really neat stuff. Like one comic I dug out that I had it's got a lot of value right now and it's looking to even spike more.
Beta Ray Bill?
Beta Ray Bill Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So
We've seen this show up in the chat group.
Right,
Yes.
a lot of speculation of it.
Super
and
cool.
I have it just because I had it. Like I have all the Thor around it. That's what was the time I was buying. I knew nothing about the story.
So much Thor.
So much Thor.
Thor.
So that's cool,
Thor
right?
and Thor attack.
Those characters in Thor are amazing. Even like the what other ones are a lot of the Fantastic Four characters, right?
Yeah.
Galactus.
Yes.
Right? They're talking about being the
yeah.
next big bad.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of the new introductions of Galactus with the What If series and the Watcher. Like there's a huge chunk of that has the Watcher and Galactus intertwined. And I mean, I have all these books and I'm like, holy shit, like these are stories that could
prime example, you were saying
and
that,
I bought, so the big one that I bought for myself
Yeah.
was I had New Mutant run from like number 1 through 60 or so. I think there's 100 New Mutants.
Whoa.
And so I had a lot of cool books at the beginning that come from the movie. Like the first 8 of them are the New Mutants movie, basically, with Demon Bear and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Colossus's sister, who's magic.
Yeah.
In the book, she's the one who has the pet dragon, right? Lockheed.
yes,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Right, where they fight. If you've seen New Mutants, they fight between the different
I've seen
worlds,
these
and her
clips.
power
Yeah.
comes from the
Yeah.
other world. So those are characters. Magic is one that they're talking about, like becoming a major figure in some of the stuff coming up.
Cool.
But I stopped buying it before the late run of New Mutants, where like Cable was introduced, and then
Yeah.
later Deadpool. So I love Deadpool, so I went and bought myself a graded copy of
looks so good.
New Mutants 98, which is the
Yeah.
first appearance of Deadpool.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of an expenditure, but
Totally worth
you know,
it.
You know,
Totally
but,
worth
hey
it.
man, you
Totally
got to
worth
have
it.
that thing, right? Like that collectible thing. I get it. Like I'm on board for buying that shit. You look around the fucking room.
yeah.
Oh,
So now I'm
man.
stoked about other stuff and different issues that I have and they're unread. So as a kid, at 10 years old, I bought comics in bags and boards and just stuck them in a box and left them for 35 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you were thinking about starting a comic podcast, it should be titled Bags and Boards, and it's trademarked by Mark Cowell.
I'm
Just
sure
saying.
there is actually a Bags and Boards podcast. But yeah, so I'm looking through, and that's the cool part too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
this discovery is that like I actually have this like treasure chest at home, and I have all these boxes, and I haven't even gone through them all yet. And I open up these boxes, I'm like, what am I going to find next?
Yeah,
what
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of neat
Yeah.
thing am I going to have that I don't even know I have?
That's
Yeah.
fun.
So yeah, it's been a blast. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
super on the comic book train now, and the tie-ins between the movies and stuff, and suckered me into buying some new comics that are coming out.
Well, it's an old love, man. It's an old flame.
It's also comic books right now. Like the market has not slowed down in any way.
No.
Comic books are awesome. man.
yeah.
They're
Well,
better
and
than
with
they've
the
ever
inception
been
of
right now.
going online.
There's
Yeah.
a cool new book that
Yeah.
came out. It's just like a one-issue one that came out from Marvel just this past month called Timeless. And it's basically laying a roadmap of what the Marvel world is going to be doing over the next year.
Oh, cool.
And it's one of the first times that there's actually been characters introduced in like media,
Yeah.
TV, and film that are
Yeah.
now getting their first comic book appearance, other than like instead of going the other way.
Right.
So one of the variant covers of it is Miss Minutes from Loki.
Oh, yeah.
Gets her first appearance as a cover.
That's so cool.
Which is super cool, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh wow.
See, I love that they're just embracing it really in every way.
That's about the money.
Well, it always is.
I mean, but,
It
like,
always is.
I love that they're doing
but
it
at
right.
least but that's what it is. At least they're doing
Yeah.
it. They're doing it right. Like
They're
they're actually
respecting
getting
it.
the right people involved. Like
my
it's
dark,
always about
cynical
money.
heart.
But oh no, it always is. I mean, Disney didn't buy the shit for like fun.
All right, so I'll cap this off here.
I
love
definitely watched Hawkeye.
Yeah,
that was my sort of
okay,
tie-in.
sure, yeah.
I have
yeah.
the first
What'd you
Hawkeye
think?
solo Avengers.
We've all seen it.
Hawkeye
so.
Mockingbird, and I thought it was good.
It was fantastic.
I think it took.
I really liked it.
It took it a different direction again.
Yeah.
To appeal more to the family and to some of the
Yes.
kids and stuff. Bringing Kate
Yep.
Bishop in.
Yep.
I think it's fantastic.
I think
and bringing Elena
Elena
Belova
back,
in it,
yeah.
right? You
And
know?
Vincent D'Onofrio, man.
Yeah.
And seeing the
Tying in the
vacation,
Kingpin
Kingpin, like how great was that?
Hawaiian
right out of a
shirt
comic
Kingpin?
book. Right out of a comic book. Like right out of it.
And even in a subtle show like Hawkeye, they've now tied in so many characters, right?
Yes.
Like Kate Bishop coming in is super important.
Echo.
But
Yes.
in addition, Yelena,
Yelena,
Yes.
yeah.
Echo,
Kingpin.
Hawkeye's wife, which is
Who is she?
Mockingbird.
She was Mockingbird, yeah, man. She's a wicked, great Shield backstory.
right?
Okay,
So there's the
great
watch.
story back
all of
to-
her chatter about like
Oh.
I know more than anybody
I
else.
hope they
like,
do more with that because
Yeah.
she is badass.
Oh, yeah. I was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
impressed. And then
Yeah, so they find the watch. Did you watch it all? So there's
Hawkeye?
the yeah.
oh, I
so
saw-
there's the
yeah.
Rolex, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
Agent 19 of Shield was
Yeah.
Mockingbird.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
because that's something I didn't watch, and the watch and Kingpin's tie-in. I figured out Kingpin's tie-in, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
watch was always something.
And
that
Daredevil?
was hanging.
Come on.
Right.
Of course. Of course. Oh,
Matt
man,
Murdock
I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but that season finale fight scene in Hawkeye was where Spidey swings at the end of No Way Home. So part of me was like, I kept looking at Claudia. I'm
I
like,
heard that
even
in
if
the
he
news.
just fucking swings by, I will jizz in my pants.
How amazing
right?
would that be?
Because, but what I love is what you described too. Is this is how great, like, it ties in perfectly to the whole comic book thing. Because the way I've been describing this phase of the MCU and the future is, we are finally kids in that comic book store, and we can be like, "That's a cool cover. What's that one about?" Or who's Moon Knight? Oh, okay, let's
Yeah.
see this. Who's this guy now? And we don't need origin. We can, and if we do, check out their Disney Plus show or check out this. But if they just show up now and you're cool with that, you can just keep going with it.
I'm
right?
waiting.
We don't need it all. Whereas, like, the very cliche thing is, we have to see why. Like, Joker needs to fall into the pit of acid so that we can see why.
We know
but you know what I mean? Like now, and what I love is it is very much that comic book feel.
and what I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I was going to say, just on that note, what super excites me, and I heard somebody say on another podcast talking about it, is that they said, "Oh, this is the peak of like comic bookdom, right? With
Yes,
everybody
yeah.
into it." And the guy said, a lot of people say yes because lots of people collecting. The people that grew up with the comic books now can afford,
Yeah.
some of the things they couldn't afford.
Yeah,
everything
and they
else.
can justify that obsession.
But
now
he
more,
said
right?
no. He goes, this is the start. This is the
Totally.
small peak. I go,
Yeah.
imagine the kids right now that are growing up on the movies.
Yeah.
And then later in life they discover, wait a second, there was books about these characters that
Yeah.
tell like
Yeah.
these exist.
It's
Yeah.
so fucking cyclical.
Yeah.
Right?
now.
Sort of
Yeah.
like the Pokemon thing,
Yeah.
right? Like some
The
people
res-
know it through
it'll go through resurgences.
Yeah.
they know a kid knows it from the game. They're like, wait a second, there's fucking cards.
That's
and
right.
Collectibles.
There was
that
a
come from
show.
this?
Vertical
Yeah.
integrated.
You're like, what? And again, what I love too is you made funny enough with Pokemon, and still the most valuable ones that I know are Generation 1, the stuff that came out when we were kids and
Yeah.
stuff. And it always will be, right?
And the stuff
that's
you
what's-
wanted, you hoped you could have.
That's right.
And that's
right.
what's huge right now.
Yeah.
Is
Now I
the
can
things
have it.
we wanted
Yes.
that we now have adult money to
Yeah.
go back and buy.
And there's so much, and they have it. It's easier accessible. Remember when you had to go to that one comic book store in the city to get Marvel trading cards? Like that was like you were saying. Comics,
Or you had
I
to
was
know
in
a guy.
You had to know a guy. Yeah, like I was in a same thing. My place was cover to cover, but I also got obsessed with Marvel trading cards.
So did I,
flares.
buddy. So did I.
The '90s flares
With
were,
all the statistics on the
Oh,
back
dude.
and
Oh,
like
yeah.
the action pose
Oh,
on the
yeah.
front.
Oh, yeah.
And then like they're like it would be like a trivia.
Yeah.
It would be a reference to a comic book and it would be their stats. So
Well,
you
the
have like
first-
speed, strength, superpower, uniqueness.
Before Magic, it was
Marvel.
There was Marvel cards, and that's what it was. And
I was
then
cooler
that-
than Magic. That's all I
And
care
then
about.
that company, I guess licensing and whatever, that company went on to develop what now is Magic.
Getting somebody else's
the
lane.
Gathering
Yeah.
and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, and it's so cool because I went, like, I still have all my shit. And I went through it, and, like, I have a Spawn comic. I have the 100th issue of Spawn and the 101st issue of Spawn. And those I know are good. Like, they have pretty good collectors. Like,
Yeah.
I went on to some website, I checked it out, and there's like people that are very intrigued. But it's one of those things where I'm like, no,
I
like,
love the Spawn art.
dude.
Oh,
This and what it was is like I remember getting those comics when I was in junior high, and it was one of those things. It's like heavy metal. Like, I'm not old enough to be looking at this, but I love it.
I wasn't either,
and
but
if
I was
my
looking
parents
at it.
saw this, they'd be like, "What on earth?" Because that was my allowance.
Why
man.
is one breast covered in tin?
Or like, why is this man being ripped inside out, and you're seeing everything?
It's
right?
interesting
Like,
you bring up Spawn because how bad they used to do movie versions of comic books.
Yeah.
Like John
Yeah.
Leguizamo's.
Yeah, oh yeah, Violator. You know what? Funny enough, I rewatched it the other day, and I
Michael
will
J.
give them-
White, John Leguizamo, Martin Sheen.
Oh, it was an insane cast,
Oh my
dude.
god!
It was
But
insane.
like, you know what? The special effects,
They're not terrible.
when he changed to Spawn,
They're not terrible.
It covered a lot in the comic book
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the death and coming
Yeah,
back
it
in the
did.
cloak and everything.
And I
like,
will
it really,
say they did stay. Like even John, I actually like John Leguizamo because Violator is absolutely obnoxious in the thing, and he does that well. But I will say they actually stayed true to how they look.
yeah.
Like he was the clown. He had the same makeup on, the same right. Like whereas some movies still, where they feel like it should be so easy for them to do an adaptation, they'll fuck it up. You know what I mean? Or like
Let's just change
whatever.
this one thing.
Yeah, let's just right. But that movie was
You mean
so
the one
'cause that
thing
was
that's
that,
so pivotal to the fucking character's identity you're gonna change?
right?
You're gonna
Like
change that?
That's why I love in Hawkeye. Like again, going back to that, I love the groundedness of her being like, you got to fix your image, you got to get a better costume, because these are things you don't hear superheroes talking about, but yet they have them. They have a costume, right?
this is not cutlery.
Uh,
this is not cutlery.
I love the Katniss Everdeen was the best. Look, there you are. No, that's actually Katniss Everdeen. That was great. That was great.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Oh, I loved the after credits scene was the musical number.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was genius.
I can do this all
Yeah,
day.
and it's hilarious. They
Right.
and apparently they got like those are legit like some big performers in the Broadway world.
They could tour
They're
that
huge.
show right
Oh,
now.
Dude, they totally could.
I'd go see that
They totally
show.
could.
if it
Even people would-
existed as a whole thing, they could tour.
even as like a pop-up thing, that would just kill it. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like for sure.
East Coast, 6 months, do a small tour.
Did you
Yeah.
deep dive into that scene and how Ant-Man appears in that musical?
No.
And
No, but that
Ant-Man
was
wasn't
funny.
there during the Avengers and
Yeah, because they even bring that up. They're like, because Ant-Man's there, and they're like, but he isn't in the attack against New York. He isn't, right? Yeah, they
Interesting.
Make, even
But was he
Jeremy Renner
there?
said something.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The Quantum Mania.
Because there you go.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Well, and even what's it called? Even in Endgame, right? Like they're all going through the quantum. That's how they were able to defeat.
That's how they
Thanos,
done it,
right?
Technically, the
Was the
quantum realm
quantum
wraps
realm.
around the whole entire
Yeah.
universe so far.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, and Quantum Mania is coming out. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
between Multiverse of Madness and Quantum Mania.
Yeah.
it's just, they could do anything. They
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the pillars.
want. You could make anything canon.
Did you hear what everyone's saying too? The way Kevin Feige did it was as a joke. The writers were like, "Yeah, then we could like do the multiverse." And Kevin Feige's like, "Okay," and they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." and then he went to Amy Pascal and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna do a multiverse thing. Get Toby, get me their contact information. Let's do
That's
this."
sick.
Yeah, and that's just the world he lives in. He was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it."
It
Yeah.
needs visionaries like
Totally.
Feige and
Yeah.
Favreau's pushed a lot of it too,
sure.
and those kind of people to say, "Fuck it, like we can just do it."
Well, the
Let's try
rumor,
it.
the
Why not?
rumor is they're trying to get the power from Kathleen Kennedy to Jon Favreau and Dan Filoni. Like they're really pushing.
Dave?
Is it Dave? Sorry, Dave. Filoni. They're trying to get
I watched Boba last night.
them to take the power that Kathleen Kennedy has, because technically Kathleen is the Kevin Feige
Who's
for
Kathleen
Star Wars.
Kennedy?
Oh, the worst.
Who
I
is she?
mean, she runs all of Star Wars. Like
I don't
she's the
care.
one that like oversees.
I know who she
that.
is. I'm trying to pretend.
Oh
that
yeah, right.
her relevance
But
anymore is
unfortunately-
name on shit.
Oh, I know. But at least they're trying to, because the person that should have that role should be Favreau, like people that care and
True.
are like
Very
making.
true.
And I'm sorry, the TV shows are this like since Disney took over, the TV shows have been outweighing the movies by far.
Who was the other director on Mandalorian? The guy, this is the total Disney nut.
Oh,
Who him and Favreau just played
It's
off each
Are you
other.
talking Filoni?
Was it
It
Filoni?
is.
Dave
is.
Filoni and
It
John
is Dave
Favreau
Filoni.
are
He's like the
Mandalor-
crazy.
Yeah.
oh,
like,
he's
super
the
fan.
crazy super fan,
Yeah.
and now he's like, oh yeah, he's the one that would like correct Lucas, and Lucas would be like, oh yeah,
Yes.
damn.
Speaking of which, on Boba Fett, not to spoil it, but I mean the start of Boba Fett, the tie-in with Patton Oswalt.
Oh, how great
from-
was that? Oh, great with the
Have
filibuster.
you followed that whole thing?
The filibuster.
Okay, so for listener, because this is something.
It was incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
It was. So
we cut
it's,
to the
hang on,
sons
hang
of
on,
Tatooine.
hang on. So it was a community that
Parks
he was
and
on?
Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Parks
It was
and
Parks and
Rec.
Rec that
Yeah.
he was on.
He plays a
and-
very annoying reoccurring character in it.
And what he does is he filibusters for what movie is it that was supposed to open?
So the reason why he did that filibuster was that year was when Disney officially announced they bought Star Wars.
That's it.
So Patton Oswalt,
Yes.
as a Star Wars fan by nature, when they were writing the filibuster episode, they told Patton he could do whatever he wanted, and that was when he found out they bought Star Wars. He was obsessed with the idea of them doing Boba Fett justice.
And he just needed
So-
he just needed to keep talking.
Yes.
He just needed to keep talking.
so that they wouldn't vote.
Yeah.
I've watched this
Yeah.
clip
Right?
multiple
And then,
times.
so,
now.
and that whole thing was something he personally wrote about how he would continue Boba Fett, so he made that his filibuster.
And
the
he
fact
also
that-
went for like 8 minutes or something.
Yeah,
like,
the
have you
actual
listened
one.
to the whole thing?
Yeah, the
I
whole
have.
one.
where he
No, yeah.
ties
Oh, yeah.
in
'Cause he-
fucking X-Man.
Oh yeah, he's like, and then Magneto shows up in the X-wing. He's like, yeah, and he crosses over everything that Disney owns.
And
He,
who is
like,
it?
does
You think it's a Millennium Falcon?
All-
No. It's a Quinjet. It's the X-Men Quinjet.
That's what it is. And it even cuts to Amy Poehler, and they're laughing because they're like, because no one can interrupt him. He just doesn't stop. Oh, it's so good.
No,
Yeah.
I've just seen how they were comparing the opening scene of Boba. I knew about the scene because someone had told me about the scene prior.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a year ago I knew about it. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Then when Boba started, and I was like, I remember hearing about this scene, and I said to somebody, I was like, wouldn't it be cool
Yeah.
if they actually did this as a joke? And
Why not?
It was the guys at work I was talking to this about, and then we all go and watch it, show up at work the next day, and we're like, what the fuck
yeah.
about that opening scene?
But
Like,
I mean, it's because Patton is a
but
fan,
that's-
right?
but
Like,
And
that
what's
is-
even more fucked up, Patton Oswalt is in the MCU.
he is.
And
as MODOK.
Yeah.
No, he's also
he is. He's the voice
he's
of
also
MODOK, too.
in Agents of Shield.
He is.
He's a reoccurring major
He is.
character that's duplicate. So he's like he protects Shield assets in the Agents of Shield, and there's multiple versions of him
Yeah.
throughout all Agents of Shield.
So
That's
that
crazy.
and that can totally tie into what like Loki's doing and everything, right? Like they know about him, and just because Shield got canceled, the show doesn't mean his character necessarily doesn't need to exist.
No,
right?
and there's
So-
talk about Quake
Yeah, I heard about that.
coming into the MCU.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
She was great. She's a good. Oh, the Ghost Rider. They're now figuring out.
and Ghost
Well,
Rider was in there. Yeah.
Originally, they announced a Hulu Marvel show that was going to continue just what they did because Ghost Rider. Sorry, we can talk about this around. But
Yeah.
I really liked what they did with Ghost Rider and Shield. I actually really.
We
liked
should
that.
just block off a whole show.
Yeah, seriously.
No, well, I have to keep him from.
Oh, yeah.
he circles
Yeah.
the outer rim of a Marvel
Shine
deep
a
dive,
light.
and then you gotta pull him out,
And it
from time to
feeds
time.
my need.
know,
I
know,
can't. Honestly,
I know.
one day you
I
and
know.
I just got to discuss comics and everything. I would love to see your collection, and whatnot. I love that.
Oh shit, guys! I'll go out and I'll take Sean on a date. You guys can sit here all night long. I'll
Hi,
just
we're
hit
taking
start.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unplugged tonight.
Take
with
over an
just Charles
episode.
and Mark.
Fuck, take over an episode. I won't even be here.
Oh my god.
I won't. We need to talk after the show. I will tell you what I watched, and then we will carry into the whole fucking segment of what today is all about. But
Please
I
don't
went.
say Yellowstone.
I
Please don't say
Man, everyone is fucking telling me about this show. I almost have to watch it just because, like, I'm it's
just to get
crazy.
people off my back.
Yeah,
like,
man.
all I see on TikTok is people doing the one episode of Yellowstone, 1 week of Yellowstone, 1 season of Yellowstone.
Yeah,
they just
yeah,
like
yeah.
slowly morph into a cowboy
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
end of the video. I stopped watching it because it became too much of a fucking cultural zeitgeist for a minute. I was like, everybody and their dog wants to be a rancher in Montana.
Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
need to just eject from the whole Kevin Costner fandom thing. So I've watched a ton of shit. I chewed through The Witcher season 2, which I fucking loved.
Nice.
Absolutely loved. Yellow Jackets is ending.
I really want to get into that.
Oh,
it looks
I've
great.
Guys,
been-
do it.
yeah.
Do it.
The cast looks amazing.
It's a thriller horror.
Oh,
It's
I
got
love it.
some.
And Juliette Lewis, I love her.
Oh, she's a fucking force
Yeah,
in this.
I love her.
Christina Ricci
Oh,
scares the fuck out. Christina Ricci plays. You know the. I'll be fair. The crazy person, the
Yeah.
crazy guy, or the crazy girl.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
that you can see 1,000 yards out.
yeah, yeah.
That's
yeah.
what she is.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and it's about a plane crash. It's about living in the Ontario wilderness. It's
Do
basically.
they actually mention Ontario? Is it?
It is, yeah.
Oh,
they do.
cool.
They do mention it. It's filmed in
Cool.
Canada.
Oh, nice.
But what's it's Lord of the Flies with a girls soccer team.
I was just gonna say,
That's-
Lord of the
that's-
Flies.
That is the
basically?
best way.
Because when I read the description, I looked at Claudia right away and I was like, "This gives me Lord of the Flies."
Yeah.
Like, vibes,
Oh, it does. 100%.
right? And then you see the cast and you're like, "Whoa."
I've told people about it, and I've just said that, and that's been enough to anchor them, and they're like, "Oh yeah." So I don't want to ruin it for anybody because it really does twist and turn.
Awesome.
It gets into weird magic.
Is it all out yet? Like, is the season out
There's
yet?
2 more episodes.
Okay, but it's like okay.
It's out. Yeah, it's running.
Because
Right
I think
now.
I have it all on so far on Crave, so I might just start watching.
What I
I'll probably
saw,
catch
what
up.
I thought looked cool was that it was like this happened. These are the girls that survived, and the flashbacks to the dynamics that occurred.
That's
from
what it is,
there
buddy.
Yeah.
Seems so fucking intriguing.
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
breakdown
yeah.
of what happened to them, and you're going at it from 2 ends. You're going at it from Melanie Linsky's also in it too. by the
Oh,
way.
nice.
And she's like Castle
Yeah.
Rock.
Yeah,
2.5 Men. Melanie Linsky.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
yeah. She's
Yeah.
also
Just in
from
something-
Don't Look Up.
Yeah, she was in Don't Look Up.
Oh,
That's
Don't Look
it.
Up.
Yeah,
she's-
yes.
yeah.
And she's great in it. Yeah.
So one end of the show is these girls in the 90s on the soccer team going to nationals, plane crashes, they have to survive. The other end is
Wow.
whatever happened in those 19 months was huge. And later in their like mid to late 40s, the story comes back to haunt them.
I'm sorry, you say 19 months?
19 months on this.
Oh, yeah.
Close to 2 years.
That right there, I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
giddy up.
So- and they do a really good job of like condensing it fast, so you're not like caught in like what.
But but the majority, like the story is taking place as them in their 40s, like as
2 different
adults,
timelines.
as adults. Oh, it is.
As
Okay.
16-year-olds or 14, 15-year-olds and mid 40s.
What's the crash of the soccer team and the mountains movie?
Oh, the football team, Alive.
Alive.
Yeah, very
So
similar.
It's sort of Alive meets
Oh,
Lord of
yeah.
the Flies meets.
Meets Sam Raimi.
Because I
Ooh,
thought
I like that.
I thought in
Evil
the Lord of
Dead.
the I thought in the Alive one, I'm like, so like you're in the mountains and you're like eating your buddy who died.
Yeah.
But what happens when you all survive and 10 years later you get back together and go, hey, like remember when
When
we
he
ate
ate that
Steve?
dude?
I don't think they had a reunion.
Well, because that's yeah. Let's
don't-
see that reunion episode. Hey,
I don't think anybody was like,
you know
guys,
what's-
how you doing 25 years after?
How do you
our-"
unpackage that?
I love that that's where our writing is kind of evolving. Is there was a decade where we were just obsessed with the plane crashing and them eating someone to survive.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you don't look at the full psychology of exactly what you said. But how do you live the rest of your life knowing you ate someone? Not only someone, your friend.
Watch this
What's
show.
that life
Watch
like?
watch this
Yeah.
show.
It's a whole
And
new level of
that's-
PTSD.
Totally.
That's one of the things that they're hanging is that somebody
yeah.
somebody did get eaten, and we don't know who.
Yes.
And so,
Oh, I
but
gotta get into this.
but
Yeah.
Cool.
But
I got to get into it.
the
I love
big
it.
the big piece that I wanna talk about today is I went on Nightmare Alley last night.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Go see
good, eh?
this film. It's a remake of a 1947 film called Nightmare Alley. Same story. It's about a grifter who ends up with a group of carnies, and they have a really freaky sideshow, and he learns how to be a mentalist. And
Oh.
it's the dark and kooky and Guillermo del Toro made movie.
Who's it?
of
Who stars? in that
Bradley
movie?
Cooper.
Oh yes, that's
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
wait
yeah.
for this list. Bradley Cooper, Willem Dafoe, Toni Collette, Kate Blanchett, Rooney Mara.
Yeah.
I
saw her on the poster.
I'm missing. There's he was in he's been in other Guillermo del Toro films too. Fuck.
Is it the guy who plays the shape, like the
No, it's not him.
the mermaid?
Richard
the
Jenkins
merman?
is in it. Richard
Oh yeah,
Jenkins.
Richard Jenkins is. Yeah.
He was also in Shape of Water.
yeah.
So it's the people he's worked with for the last
Yeah.
couple films. It is bloody. It is dark. It is the first half is the carnival where he learns his craft.
Okay.
The second half is his 2 years later doing a touring show.
Interesting.
And then how he learns to be a mentalist, but he's really just a con man. But is mentalism real or is it not?
right.
And the use of what he's doing, is it spiritual or is it just a con?
Right.
You're taken through this entire wacky world of
Cool.
like babies in jars.
oh yeah, like your classic
and like
creep
the,
show.
the bearded lady.
yeah.
And Ron Perlman is in it. That's
Oh,
who I was
nice.
forget. Ron Perlman plays the
Hellboy.
strong man.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Right? I'm just like
that's pretty cool because they haven't done. That must have been great for the two of them together too. Eh?
it's
like,
well yeah.
Another
yeah.
character from Don't Look Up.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, and he was great at that too.
Well, and like Kate Blanchett is like the way he
She's in it too?
films her there's like 4 shots where he was like, I'm going to make you look like Marilyn Monroe. And the lighting. Because it's a movie, it takes place during World War II. Is
Cool.
the era. So like
Cool.
mid 30s to late 30s.
So he
into
like
early
adapted,
40s.
like it's a full on remake.
It's
like
a full on remake,
yeah.
but like just darker, right?
I've never even heard of the original.
Neither
so
have
I'm very intrigued by this.
Everything I knew, I can tell you on one hand, I knew it was Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
I knew it had a good cast.
Yeah.
And I knew it was a remake. I did not know the story. So me and Aaron went into it last night going, whatever happens, happens. Right?
Yeah.
We didn't even do a preview review because we were like, we know nothing. Like,
Yeah.
no, Jon Snow, both of us. So like we go in, cheeseburgers, right? Fucking first movie of the year. And I'm crawling up the back of the seat and I'm looking like there are it was you were taken away to a different world.
Good
for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Good performances and everything. Eh?
Fantastic character performances,
Yeah.
right? Like, and it's got that that whimsy. See here, kids. See,
I was going to
right?
ask.
Like
is
it's
Bradley
very.
Cooper, yeah. See,
Yeah. Well, but he'll be like baby doll, like that.
Yeah,
The swing cat lingo of the day.
Yeah.
Carney's working for 10 cents. Like baths are 10 cents. Fucking a plate of eggs is 25 cents. Like
my God.
very Depression era character roles that just pull the yarn, and you have a super fun time with.
I think I would have excelled in that time.
I really think I would have done well with the fedora too.
25 cents
I think-
for eggs. Sign me up, baby.
right? Like hard work. See,
Yeah.
you're gonna put we're gonna put you to the rail line. See, like.
You don't need a resume. Just show up.
But that's what happens. He just walks into the carnival.
Yeah, right?
And like the little person and the strong man are like, you're not supposed to be back here, which is Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he looks at him and he pulls There Will Be Blood. Cooper doesn't say anything for maybe 15 minutes.
Love it.
It's just
Yeah.
him. It's his
Living his
experiences,
life.
living his
Just
life.
living his
And
life,
so he
yeah.
gets
You're
to
observing. Yeah.
he gets
That's
into
cool.
the carnival, and then Ron says, "You're not supposed to be here." And he just kind of looks at him, and he's like, "All right, I got a job for you. It's hard work, and
my God.
whatever." Do you guys know what a geek is? Do you know what the term of a geek is?
No.
Okay, so this is the only thing I will say out of all the kooky characters. This is an interesting one. A geek in the circus was like a freak, a man who was so wild that he would eat the neck of a chicken in front of everybody, and they would pay to see the wolf man, right? The wild man,
Right.
the freak creature.
Yeah.
Because it's
Animal.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But the geek that you meet, you think the entire time is this crazed man, but it's actually just an alcoholic who had his alcohol dosed with opium and was
Right.
tricked into the position
Right.
by Willem Dafoe, who runs the circus.
Wow.
That story
Yeah.
is the entire arch of the whole show. That one thing,
Interesting.
if I can tell you one thing when you watch it, that
it.
convert, and it's so far removed from the plot. Like they're sitting
Yeah.
down for a meal after they draw the geek has an alcohol overdose. They throw him outside of the hospital, and then Willem Dafoe's like, "I'm starving." They're like, "What about him?" "Whatever, let's go get some eggs. I'm buying." Then they go to the local restaurant and they talk about what a geek is. And that
Wow.
conversation means nothing
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you need to watch to enjoy the movie.
Willem Dafoe's having a year.
He's
Yeah,
having
man.
a big year.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said he runs the carnival. I'm like, sweet.
He's the guy who's got like pickled everything in the back, like
Yeah.
pickled pig fetuses and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So like, honestly, I would give this like 8 out of 10 3-boobed women. Like,
Wow.
like just the freak show aspect of it and all. It really like I was like, this is a
Being
world.
mighty judgmental of you, Mike.
Okay, 5, whatever. However many boobs you have is fine. It's totally fine. But like, truthfully and honestly, it was so much fun to watch. It took me out of my day. It was a different world to be in, and it was a super fucking.
Isn't that what we want from the movies?
Well, and that's kind of like my whole point is that like, don't watch the trailer. If I learned anything last night was don't watch the trailer. Don't get so like invested in knowing so much before you go see it, because when you see it, your brain won't be shocked the same way. Like when I saw a couple of these scenes, I never seen them before. So
Yeah, that's great.
if they were the juicy scenes to buff up the trailer, I'd have seen them, and then I would have been like, well, I know how to react to that, but I didn't know how to react to anything.
I think we need more of that today
Yes.
to get us out of the world and just like escape.
Because
For a couple hours.
your everyday world is investigating the trailer and deep diving on the trailer. And don't get me wrong, I deep dived every fucking moment of Spider-Man. But I enjoyed Spider-Man for my conclusions that I had made in my mind, being like, I was right.
It's not only that, is trailers are doing such a bad job
Yeah.
of keeping the movie mysterious.
I still haven't
they
watched.
fucking show everything. And some trailers even go, hey, this guy was going to be evil, but we'll show you that he turns good. Or the other way around, you're like, what the fuck?
I want to watch.
Or they spend so much time trying to throw you off the scent
Yes.
that the trailer isn't the movie.
Yeah.
It's just a twisted alternate reality of the movie.
Yeah.
Or there's supposed to be 2 more Spider-Men and there isn't.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just horrible editing and maybe being like, we'll pull the wool over these. I'm going to hoodwink you.
And you know what's so funny is now when you look at that trailer, they cut right before Lizard's head moves back. It's so funny.
Well, I haven't seen the trailer for Nightmare Alley yet, and I don't want to. Like, I really, truly want to make 2022 about watching movies like I don't know a fucking
Or like the
thing.
old, like I remember being a kid and like going into the free press and that's where you found movie listings. That's where you had to
You knew
go.
nothing.
But it was also the blocks of all the posters.
Oh yeah.
And if it, like, I remember Titanic, when it had been in the theater after the Oscars, it had a block this big because they re-released it. And it was like a whole block, and it's
But then, like, something
winner of
this-
11 Oscars, and it was the whole ship.
You need
front,
more room for type
right?
font.
Yeah. But like, I remember there were like, I would be a kid, and it would be like that one, and it was literally because that marketing team made a cool poster.
Or we used to
Right?
go,
Like-
or when you used to go into Blockbuster afterwards, right? You get like these are the hot releases of the week. And
Yeah.
you're like, I haven't fucking heard of
Yeah,
these,
what
but
the
let's
hell
give
is
them a
it?
shot.
That's
like
right.
whatever, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
No, totally. Someone
That's
else
why-
is doing all the work for me. I'll
We,
fucking rent it.
We just watched the Seinfeld episode with the recommendation, and I used to love, like, I worked at, years ago, I worked at a rental store called Pick-a-Flick, and it was a locally
I know
owned one,
Pick-a-Flick.
and we used to have the employee recommendations.
What Pick-a-Flick
and
did
it
you
was-
work
Oh,
at?
Charles Picks.
Charles Picks, baby. I worked at the one at, it was on Dakota.
Okay, because there was one in
Yeah.
Springfield too.
There-
That was the one I
yes,
used to
yeah,
go to
yeah,
as a
yeah,
kid.
yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
like my old video store.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, and it was, and that's what we were saying is like what you were saying, Mark, is that's why that needed to be a thing.
Yeah.
There were so many movies, like not to now, but at that time, that was your only way sometimes to know what are the movies. You'd go to Blockbuster or go to a theater and see those big lit up posters. That was the reasoning for that, and why they'd all be lit up is
And
that's
all
how
you'd
people would
get
make
is
their decision.
the one frame and some tagline.
Yeah, man.
From some famous person.
Yeah.
The first poster for Mission Impossible, the way me and my dad decided, it's just a silhouette of Tom Cruise's head, a globe. It says Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. We're like, yep. Because my dad's like, I used to love that show when it was on TV.
Let's go take a
Let's
chance.
go take a chance.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, I like, you know, Tom Cruise in the 90s was in fucking everything. So it was like, okay. And look at that franchise now, right?
He was in
Like,
everything except Mark's heart.
yeah.
Anyways, go see
Oh.
Nightmare Alley. Go and don't research it. Like, take my word for it. Take what I've said with a grain of salt. And
Guillermo
Guillermo's
Cooper,
so good.
boom, there you go.
He's so good at making a world and
That's
a
why I love-
film and an experience. Like, he really invests in these moments that are so brief but so important to how the scene cuts and ends. And this was just that 50s film noir, funny mystery.
I personally think I would have cared about The Hobbit if they stuck to him doing it. Originally, it was Guillermo, and it was going to be 2 movies, part 1, part 2. That was it. And then Guillermo was going to do it, and I can't remember what happened. Oh, he was having issues because they wanted to make it cheaper, but he wanted to make it like Lord of the Rings. He wanted sets. He wanted, real plantation. Like, he wanted all that shit. And they were like, no, we want green screen sound stages now. And of course, Peter Jackson was like, I'll do it. They threw how much money at him, right? But originally, I would have loved to have seen Guillermo's original vision for The Hobbit.
No,
I
totally.
actually think I would have cared about it, to be honest.
Well, either way, buy comic books, don't see Matrix, and enjoy Guillermo in your 2022 life.
Yes.
That's what we have to. I'm so happy
it.
for you, Mark. The comic thing you're doing, like, that's just
Dude, 100%.
exciting. It's obsessive a little bit, actually.
well, and
Chrissy's
like,
what are you doing in there? You've already gone through them. I'm like, no.
But you know what, man? It's nowhere. It's the same obsessive I do with video games. Like, I'll be in my game room and Claudia will be like, "It's been 3 hours." I'm like, "Get out of here! Do you not know what I'm doing in here? I'm saving the world."
Leave me be. Let's move into our scheduled programming for today. The first one is mark all that off the list. Yeah, there we go. Mark in the room, mark on the board.
You might want to take an hour out of that first 2 hours.
Yeah, if you're still with us, listener,
we love you.
Yeah, this is the part of the show that we actually promised you.
Definitely put the skip to this point in the release.
In the notes. Yeah, we are going to be offering that this year. Actually, we're going to timestamp some of this stuff because I have a feeling that the people who do listen to the show on the regular would like to know. Okay, can I skip now?
I started doing it with Nerdgasm stuff. I put in the description so people can just click on that time thing and it jumps. Like, if you don't want to hear about this, you want to cut to right that. Boom.
You'll get some more timestampy stuff in
so we can keep
notes.
the 6 hour episodes.
Yeah, it's just a matter of now you have a roadmap to get through Mordor. Anyways, so the first item on the docket today just came from the fact that James Bond has been given the official title of spy by the Queen. That was kind of weird. This is where this all came from. I haven't heard that. Yeah, it was a news bite I saw this. I didn't read the whole article, but she gave him the same title that he would get if he was MI6.
Yeah,
or not MI6.
So that's what that meant.
That's what that whole hoopla was about. Which is also her first appearance because they said no one will see the Queen until the new year. And everyone was like, she's going to die finally.
I was just going to say, I think she's on her way out. So she's like, let's get crazy with it.
Yeah.
Let's make Bond a real spy.
Let's make Daniel Craig think he can infiltrate.
She's going to start fucking knighting everybody.
Yeah, like straight up. Everybody. Everyone
can I get a knight? Can we get the It's
going to be like Cameo.
Not even British
it's going to be like Cameo, except you can get knighted.
The Queen just does it over FaceTime. You're knighted now.
Are you on your knees?
We're going to send you a PDF. We'll email you a PDF now.
Do you have a sword? If you don't, just use a butter knife from the kitchen.
That's funny. Oh, my God.
Anyways, the reason I wanted to know this was because at some point, James Bond and the intro songs became part of the whole thing. Like,
oh God, yeah.
You know, when you first started watching it in the early days, it was just a big orchestrated intro. But then at some point, you started to have Nancy Sinatra.
Oh yeah,
and
Paul
Chris
McCartney.
Cornell and Paul McCartney. Like it was like being knighted, so to speak, right? So I was just curious, like when you do a James Bond film, what's your favorite? Like what's the one that you don't skip through? What's the one that you enjoy listening? Or like the Game of Thrones theme song gets me psyched. For watching Game of Thrones.
I could never skip through the beginning.
I can't. But I only need it once to get into the mode. But then with the movie, though, with movies in general, there are title tracks that do it. So Charles, what's your favorite James Bond?
Jeez, man.
Intro.
So I'm a huge James Bond fan. Like, I love it. And this, to me, like the music, you made it like, I love what you were saying, and I agree. Like, the music is just as important as who's going to play Bond. What's the name of the next one? I think the music, like who's doing that theme song is just as important and just as much of a staple. I'm an OG guy. Like, I love the ballads. Like, I love Diamonds Are Forever, Goldfinger. Because I'm a Beatles fan, I do love Live and Let Die. But I think one of my all-time favorites,
drum roll please,
is Tomorrow Never Dies by Sheryl Crow.
That's a sleeper.
I really, really love the theme song. Movie is not great, but if there's anything to take from it, it is that theme song.
That's one I actually completely forgot existed. The list that I was pulling from was kind of like, I feel that the list we had is like the greatest hits.
Yeah.
Not all of them are on it. But for her, like, and you kind of, it's almost like, are you big at the time? Or
totally.
Or are you known? Like, should you get it because you've been around for so long? Those are the two deciding factors, I think. Cause
and I feel like Cheryl was kind of she was a wild card a little bit. You know? Like, and that's what I love about it is it's totally a James Bond theme song, but it's obviously her take on it. And she's got a great voice, and it's not your classic like ballad, but it's got this kind of rock edge to it, which makes me feel like that's kind of why Chris Cornell got it so many years later, right? And his was more, that was a real James Bond rock vibe going, right? Like it
was the first time it wasn't sexy.
Yeah, or like or like a ballad, right? Like because
Unless
you have
Chris
like.
Cornell is sexy, but he's sexy to me actually.
But it was also like you're getting a new Bond. Like it gave that vibe of like you're gonna get a more. And Daniel Craig definitely fit that vibe. He was, he suited that Chris Cornell theme song really, really well. And I think too, like
That's another thing. Yeah, yeah.
It sets the tone. Like it set that tone for
Hashtag not
his
my
Bond
Bond.
and whatnot. Hashtag not my Bond.
Okay, what is
That's
your
good.
What is your
That's
Bond
good.
over there? Hashtag?
Connery's my Bond.
Yeah.
Connery. Yeah,
Connery's the best.
We've never had this.
Connery's the best.
One of us would have
He'll
been
always
fired.
be.
I would have walked off the show if we all didn't agree. Connery.
Connery will always be the best.
Fuck.
He always will be.
Yes.
He always. I felt. I
Yes, Miss
did.
Moneypenny.
I did feel Daniel Craig was his Bond to me was pretty comparable in the terms of I felt his Bond was like I'll kick your ass and I'll also woo you, which I felt Connery did. And Connery's always tough with women too. Like he wasn't
Charles.
Roger Moore was suave.
Charles, did he woo you?
Oh, he wooed the shit out of me.
Daniel Craig he didn't seem quite as suave.
No, he was hard.
Reserved.
He was hard.
Quiet.
He was tough.
Introvert.
He was a tough, but like Sean Connery was tough, but also the way
Strong
he did
father type.
the way he did it with women too is like because Roger Moore was just it was such a
Dirty.
he was a silly
Pervy.
Bond because he wasn't the type of Bond where you could see that man physically beating the shit.
No.
I
out
think
of
Roger Moore enjoyed
invented
being
the
Bond.
judo
Neither
chop.
was like
He's the judo
Brosnan and
Yeah. Brosnan wasn't. That's why me wasn't a huge Brosnan fan. Like Goldeneye is amazing because of N64, and I did like that Bond movie. But Pierce Brosnan was very much the charming Bond. I did not see the tough. Even shooting, he didn't look right holding a gun to me. Like Roger Moore was
Well,
the judo chop. Well, and Goldeneye has a great judo chop scene with Pierce Brosnan. He literally knocks someone out in a car with a judo chop.
Those
It's
are amazing
Yeah.
scenes.
I'll go next on this one here because you're like bridging me.
I'm freaking
into
out.
it.
Yeah, sorry.
It is.
Sheryl Crow, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies. We have one for I Am GoldenEye Tina Turner.
Oh, good one.
Like
Great one.
Tina Turner's
Dun, dun,
hips
dun, dun.
and lips and sass, and that really made that movie better because that song set the tone for the sneakiness, and it was his first, right?
Yes.
Like it is.
Yep.
It is. So every time they change over, it seems they give it to a legend, and then they go back into the contemporary.
Oh, and could Tina Turner do a movie title like fucking Thunderdome?
right?
Yeah.
Like she's
No doubt,
just like, and
I love the way that song starts too. Is it again? It's got
Dun,
that
dun.
Bond.
Yeah,
dun,
it's got
dun,
the
it's that
intro.
Bond. Yeah, man.
they use the
Yeah,
intro to
they
the
keep
Bond.
very
That's right.
Bondy. Yeah.
very,
right.
very Bondy.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it because that was where my resurgence for Bond came from. My mom and me and Big Red, which was the big blanket, would get on the couch and we would do the Bond marathons like
Oh, yeah.
all the time. And I just had that stuff. So the Nancy Sinatra and the Octopussy and the Duran stuff. Like I
It's
never.
a very 80s.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
theirs is the most 80s Bond.
Moonraker,
Oh,
right?
that's
Like
a great one too.
that big fucking.
Where are you?
Moonraker's the worst one, but
Oh,
Also,
it is.
the For Your Eyes Only is all the Sheena
Great
Easton.
one.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
For your eyes only,
yeah.
only for you. See what no one else can see.
Oh, it's so good.
so anyways, yeah, Tina Turner shaking hips and quivering lips and just everything about her and her,
Yeah, Tina.
she's, and I mean,
A great movie too.
great,
Great movie.
fucking. All right, let me get set up here. Mark, what's yours? Like, how do you?
And I mean, Charles mentioned it. I'm sort of a classic. Diamonds Are Forever
Oh,
for me.
so good.
Just because to me, like Shirley Bassey did 3,
she got 3.
She did
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
I think
and-
she did the most.
and
yeah.
her voice, like her style, that sort of raspy, smoky, like lounge jazz singer kind of vibe.
Yeah.
totally.
Is like Eartha Kitt
Yeah.
sorta esque.
yeah.
She's the sound to me of the Bond theme, right? So she did Diamonds Are Forever. I think she did
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger
And
and one
Nothing's
other
as
ones.
good
And
as
Moonraker.
you.
I think it was
Baby,
Moonraker,
you're
wasn't
the
it?
best. Was that her too? No.
No, I think it was Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, and Moonraker, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
I think.
But so not only is hers was great. I like Diamonds Are Forever because it's just stuck in my mind too. But you see Tina Turner's she sort of did it in that Shirley Bassey-esque way.
Yeah.
Adele did it in the Shirley Bassey.
She did an
way.
OG, like,
right? She
ballad.
sort of
I
laid
can
down the
see it.
blueprint of how
Totally.
those after her
Do it
Totally.
like this.
Are
Do
gonna
it like
do it?
this.
Totally.
Yeah. And then Diamonds Are Forever just to me became such it was great in its own right, but then it sort of re-entered the zeitgeist in like hip hop samples.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yep,
got Kanye West sampling Diamonds Are Forever.
For
and
sure.
Just that vibe and that
Totally.
just a line that Diamonds Are Forever just like sticks in my mind so
Yeah.
much.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's why that's my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's a Connery film.
Totally. And I feel like she would be the woman in the club that Bond would show up to, and she'd be singing.
She'd come out
in
of
that
she'd be
club,
the Bond
right?
girl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She'd be the Bond
Yeah,
girl.
like she would literally be that starlet that's there singing while Bond is in the club or
Why
whatever.
did they never
right?
do
Like,
that? Why did they never let the it wouldn't be funny if it
They
was
did with Madonna, and then they were like, will never do this again. I don't know why they did it with Madonna, but
Which one is she?
Die
in?
Another Day, she is the fencing coach.
That's right.
Not even a musician, she's a fucking fencing coach. And they did that. I don't know why.
Looking through the movies, and I found out Chrissy's never seen a James Bond movie.
What?
For
Blew me away.
shame.
My dad started me on James Bond. We
Yeah.
used to do the marathons of them.
Yeah.
But the characters. So in looking at the movie, like Diamonds Are Forever, I dug into it. And I'm like, okay, it's a Connery film, so that really cements it for me. And I'm like, what are the interesting characters in it? Because there's always like the sort of the famous one is Pussy Galore.
Pussy
right?
galore.
Pussy galore.
Those
Because what
kind
does
of
he say?
things.
He's like, I've gone to heaven. I think that's what he says after she says her name. He's like, I must have died and gone to heaven. or
So in
something.
this
Yeah.
movie, the seductress, whatever, there's a Plenty O'Toole.
Yeah. Plenty O'Toole.
Which is plenty on a top
yeah.
in Austin Powers.
A lot of vagina.
A lot of vagina and plenty
yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dick's enormous.
So good.
Odd Job.
Odd Job.
Common.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Odd Job. What's the Austin Powers version of it?
Random Task.
Random Task.
Random
Odd Job.
Task.
That's
I love the ones with like Jaws and Odd Job.
Jaws is
Those
my
are just
favorite.
amazing.
Jaws is
The
my
weird-
favorite.
There was like Moonraker
yeah,
in there,
when he
right?
bites the gondola wire, man, it's the greatest thing ever. And that's the thing. Like Roger Moore had some great. I think Roger Moore had the underwater car.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think he got the.
Yes,
that
he
was,
did.
That was
That's
a
an
dope
actual
ass
vehicle, isn't it?
They actually built that stupid thing. I think to go for the shots where it goes underwater. They actually built it.
Is
for that.
anybody going to say Timothy Dalton?
You know what? This is the thing that
Or are we
actually
just gonna
kills me.
take him off the
Timothy
record?
Dalton, story-wise, has some of the best Bonds, like License to Kill. That's a big one. But it's Timothy Dalton. It's what it was. It's the '80s influence too. It is so hard.
I couldn't get past
because
the
Chris Walken is a villain in one of his.
The security guard who molests the guy with her breath. I was like, no.
You know what it is too? Is that Timothy Dalton just wasn't Bond. Like if it was a different spy, I could have believed. He just didn't have that suaveness.
Je ne
He
sais
didn't
quoi.
have anything, man. Like when you say Sean Connery, you can say things. When you say Roger Moore, but Dalton, you're like, I don't even know what he brought
Dirty.
to it, man.
Dirty old man
It's
is
just
what I
like-
say.
And he
to
got
Roger
two.
Moore.
You got two of them. Crazy.
Did he get two?
Yeah, I got License to
thought
Kill
he
and The
only did
Living
one.
Daylights.
Yeah, he did get two. No,
License
you're-
to
yeah.
Kill and Living Daylights because
It's-
Duran Duran did Living Daylights.
Yeah.
They did the song for that one, and it's so bad. It's so 80s.
All right.
Yeah. That's
So-
what's cool too about Bond, though. I want to say too is
Yeah.
we've had it for so long. The musical influence of decades is interesting. Like you can tell.
Oh, God.
the 80s
It's-
ones, and then what's interesting is with Adele, they've kind of went back. Even Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish
Hers
is
was
killer.
very good.
That
very
needs
good.
to be mentioned.
And
You're
that
right.
one also
Yeah.
reminds me of it could be an old school Bond because it's not hip hop. You know what I mean? It's like just a ballad. It's just a hard, ballad and whatnot. The one that I have to say I hated one of the ones I hate that I skip every time was Sam Smith's.
I don't even know that one.
Yeah, it was for
he
Spectre.
Spectre, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Hated that
it's-
movie and hated that song. I'm not a fan of it.
I just don't.
I'm not a fan of it.
he's a fantastic artist.
No, it's nothing against him.
I
it's
just
a great,
don't think he's got the
he
voice
sings it
for
well.
these.
It's just a bad song. I
Yeah.
don't like it.
What about the homage to Bond opening songs in Deadpool 2 with Celine Dion?
Oh yeah, that was great. And the heels and
Forgot
the
about
bullets.
that.
Yeah, man.
that
that's
Bond
the other-
opening?
That's the other thing too, is the actual openings too are really like they're awesome. Like they're actually, funny enough, we were talking about Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That reminded me of a Bond opening where it's like the oil mixing in.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
very like Bond-esque, and it had Daniel Craig.
I wonder if
there
you.
you
I
go.
wonder if you ever ask Fincher if he's a Bond
Yeah,
fan.
was that
because
your- was
Fight,
that-
Fight Club is like
Yeah,
that.
totally.
Zodiac, like they're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
one title long track.
Yeah.
That just goes start to finish.
Yeah.
And has a world behind it, because like in Fight Club, Warner Brothers did that with Batman. Like the Batman, Michael Keaton Batman is like going
Yeah.
through the insignia.
Yeah, and it's going through the symbol
Right.
and shit where the Batmobile go. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
John Williams, but nonetheless, it's a full song.
But I think the Bond, like, it's cool. Like, I mean, yeah, and even the way they go about it, when they announce the Bond movie, it's always the title, who's playing Bond, the director, and then eventually the song.
Yeah.
And what's also cool too is that not all the songs are named after the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like not all of them are. So that's why it's treated as an event on its own as well, I think.
And is there a sort of character or series of movies that have been tied so closely to a title song or a song at all?
No,
Like,
nothing.
I don't
no.
think so.
Nothing like that. No,
Tying
I think,
music and movies together.
No,
like
I think
that?
Bond is the one. I think
that's not a musical.
Right,
It's
right.
just a movie.
It's just the signature staple of that movie.
So it was always
Yeah.
like announce the movie. We
Yeah.
don't really even care about the plot of the movie.
No,
in
it's just
Bond.
like
we
a
want to know
movie.
who Bond is,
who Bond is, yeah.
who the one female lead
Yeah,
is going to
who's
be
gonna
in
be
it,
the Bond girl.
and
Yeah,
who's the
yeah.
song.
Yeah.
So we want
Totally.
Bond girl song. That's all
Totally
we care about.
Totally, man. For reals.
We
Yeah.
should
We don't care what it's about. You know, it's going to be some guy trying to take over the world. with
Yeah,
something.
and he's gonna stop it. He's gonna stop it. It's gonna be a missile or a nuke or something. Yeah.
Guys, I smell a debate.
Oh, I do too.
Make your own Bond.
Make our own Bond. I think so.
It'll be called Gold Bond.
I like that. I like that.
No, you're right, Mark. Like it you could give two fucks. You know what you know what you're
man.
getting. You know what you're getting. They
Dude, it's like
do not compromise.
It's like Spider-Man. Like you don't really need to know. You need a villain. Who's going to play the villain? Who's Spider-Man? Who's doing it?
Yeah.
That's it. I don't really need to know anything more than that. But it's true. Like that is Bond, man. And the opening. It's also too like I think another good debate we could have too. We should have a whole Bond episode. Best opening. Because they always open with a cool sequence and then
Yes.
into the opening
Yes.
number, right? So
well,
best
yeah.
opening leading
Yeah.
into, because that's signature Bond as well too, right?
That's going on the fly list for sure.
Oh hell yeah,
I want to get into some sexy time though with you gentlemen.
of course.
I figured it's about time.
in
we
the
get
spirit of Bond,
In
and
the spirit of Bond.
Yeah. In the
And
spirit-
wooing.
Yeah.
an uncomfortable
Yeah.
situation.
Yes. They all kind of mesh together. I tried to write a through line on this episode.
Yeah.
So, Brad Crawford, local cinematographer, I talked to him a while back, and we talked about filming sex scenes. And this is kind of where this came from, because in a good film, you go, wow, that's happening. But you don't realize that there is actually a person on the other side holding a camera or watching through Studio City, right? Like or Video Village, I mean. So, like, it's a very intimate thing. You obviously, more than often than not, they close the entire set to only those who need to be there.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it can still be fucking awkward.
Oh yeah.
So, like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. It's all simulated. But what's the most awkward version of it being simulated? Like, what's an awkward sex scene, Charles? Like, when does it have you climbing up the wall? Like,
Well-
TV, movies, whatever. There's always, it always just starts to be awkward for some reason.
Like, yeah, like, there's so many different, because when they're intending it, like, when you first pitch that, the first thing that came to my mind was American Pie. Because I was thinking, like, awkward
Sex scenes.
Right.
Hey, man, you know how loose we play here.
No, right? And, like,
they don't have to be with another person.
with him in live streaming or him in the pie.
yeah, see,
yeah.
Just Jim alone has some
Yeah.
of the most awkward, right?
Yeah.
I'm glued.
the reunion,
God, yeah.
the reunion with the pot,
Both hands. I'm glued.
the pot lid,
Oh, yeah.
where you
yeah.
see the
Yeah.
swig and berries.
Yeah,
like
yeah. like, so what I thought, like, my favorite, most awkward sex in anything ever is in the opening of American Pie 2. Just because one of my favorite lines ever is, "This is my first time since my first time." Because that's how fucking awkward and nervous he is. And I love that because, like, that whole thing is very much, it's such a funny outlook. Because the whole thing is always about losing your virginity. But when you think about it, it's not like after you finally do, you're just amazing. It's still awkward. It's still bumpy.
It's awkward for
right?
like the pressure that movies put on
Yeah.
the virginity loss scene.
Right.
Is that
right.
as soon as it's done with,
It's over. There's no more pressure. It's gone.
no,
There's more, if anything.
dude, I'm 40.
Yeah,
It was awkward last weekend.
There's more
Like,
pressure, if anything, because it's like,
repeat business.
am I good though?
Yeah.
And then it goes from, I lost it, but am I good at it now?
Yeah.
Right?
Did
Right?
they enjoy it?
So that's
Are
why-
they faking it? Like,
Right.
like it doesn't get easier.
No.
You just know what it feels like.
But so you have that American Pie 2 scene, and then of course you just end it with Eugene Levy walking him with a fucking pie, and then the pie falls on the ground, smashes the pie. I think he walks in with beers, drops the beer, and then the mom walks in, and she famously goes, "Oh my God, they're fucking," and then turns around and drops the pie.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
And then Eugene Levy goes to sit in the bed with him, and he goes, "This isn't awkward. We don't need to make this awkward." And he's like, "Dad, go." Because he's trying to be the cool dad. He's trying to be like, this doesn't
we're
have
fine.
to be awkward.
I remember that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that one was like, that's what I picked originally. But like when you were saying like actually,
Sure. Yeah. No, I didn't preface.
Well, I looked
this
at your
by-
list.
Yeah, and the list is.
So there's
Hey,
a
man,
movie on there.
We can talk about Clerks too if you want.
Oh, great. That was
like
great.
Like you want to talk about
That was my first. Actually, funny that you mentioned that.
interspecies erotica, like that's on the table.
Clerks
I
2.
haven't seen it.
Clerks 2 and 40-Year-Old were my first.
I'm
I never.
going to admit it. There's
No,
things I haven't seen.
I'm not upset that you haven't seen it. I can't wait to. The look on my
Oh.
face was I can't wait to tell
I
you.
can't
to
wait
see.
for us to do our Clerks marathon for number 3, my friend. Oh, just rewatching those is going to be so much fun. But Short Bus was on the list. I
Yeah,
saw.
Short Bus. Yeah, isn't that?
So that's not.
That's a
even,
Canadian film.
It is a
too.
Canadian film.
Sookie
and there
and
was
Lee.
Sookie
Is that-
and Lee,
yeah.
Much Music VJ was on it.
Yeah. Okay.
But what's
I'm right
awkward
that.
about that one is that it's not simulated sex. They're
They had sex.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that one was interesting because when the reason why that movie. I had to study in university because it's a Canadian movie, and it was one of those where it's the borderline between pornography.
I remember
and,
when it was in the news.
Yeah, it's a big deal when you watch it. It is hard to. The only difference, like, because I mean, pornos have storylines. They're not great, but there is a story involved somewhere.
We need to have an episode where we unpack the best storyline in a porn now. Apparently to Charles.
But like Short Bus, I also saw it young, so it was like it was one of those things
it
where I
changes
was
your
like,
perspective.
it does, and I didn't know.
I haven't seen Short Bus, so I don't.
It's literally it's a movie that is following different couples, people, and their experience with sexuality.
Oh,
So
okay.
you have gay couples, you have even solo. The one thing that was difficult is the beginning of the movie is showing a compilation of these different couples, and that's fine. But there's one hardest thing I've ever had to watch on like I would say cinema. There's a guy that's trying to give himself a blowjob, and he makes some leeway, and it's eye-opening. Literally eye-opening.
It's one of those films. It's like Patty Chayefsky's The Network, right? Like ahead of its
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
doing things that nobody else is doing on film. Super Maverick, very questionable, borderlining on a lot of things, but you don't push the line unless you push the line. So by no means, like everybody involved in the film was completely aware of what they were getting into.
Oh yeah, and it was all and that's the thing is, especially talking in these days about Me Too, I feel like that's a movie that they should talk about because in terms of everyone being consensual, how were they dealing on set? How was that? Was it a closed set? Was it right? That's a movie that they should really, because that's one that I'm like,
it's portraying the awkwardness of sex as the awkwardness of sex.
Yes, it's throwing you right in it.
Yeah,
There you go.
which is which is meta and shit. Mark, what's yours?
You know what? Wow, I'm going on video for this one. So here's an interesting segue, and this just tied all together at this last second that kind of blew my mind. You mentioned the Short Bus because it was actual sex scenes. This isn't my movie, but reminds me of the Brown Bunny.
Yes.
which is also actual sex.
Yes.
I haven't seen this.
And
Ooh.
it's Chloe Sevigny,
Yes.
Okay.
right? I don't remember his name, but he's the director.
Vinny's something, yeah, and
He was her. They were dating at the time,
They were.
and they
They were.
have actual like fellatio on camera.
yeah, she
with
blows
not
him.
simulated.
No, like and it's like a porn shot.
Yeah,
It's just a close up of her giving him a blowy.
and that also broke ground for being
Yeah.
actual non-simulated sex in a movie.
Yeah.
The reason the tie-in for mine is Chloe Sevigny is in mine that I remember Kids.
Oh God,
Kids.
I knew you were.
right,
That was the other one that I was thinking about too.
right. That
Yeah.
scene with no,
Casper.
It's me, Casper.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was fucked up.
Real fucked up. That director is famous for just making real, like Bully, real fucked up movies.
Yeah,
Real fucked up, like movies that when they end, they're like, I'm going to throw up, I think.
And you know what? Okay, for art's sake, I understand it, but there is that God complex that gets into his shit. Like I've seen both Bully and Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are one and dones, right?
Yes.
I've got your
I
message.
watched it. I got it.
I'll watch Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not doing this.
There's not a lot of reason to revisit it.
No.
Yeah.
Requiem for a Dream. Like not a movie. But what is happening is what's happening out there. It's happening
And when
on
I
screen.
saw
Yeah.
Kids, I mean, that has the other impact, right? I think it was made in 95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw Kids when I was pretty young,
Yeah.
right? Not much difference in age from those kids.
Those, yes.
And
Yeah.
it really addressed like sexually transmitted diseases and like basically rape.
unsafe
right?
sex.
Yes.
Rape, yeah, so
just
many
all
topics.
twisted in together. And the way that it builds to that point, and knowing that she tested positive, and then him basically impersonating
Yeah.
the friend, right? Telly is his character.
Casper and
Yeah,
Telly.
yeah,
Yeah,
Casper,
yeah.
yeah.
Says he's Casper, but he's like, no, because she's so fucked up. And then knowing that she's got fucking AIDS,
Man,
and,
yeah.
like, that was
I
fucked
know.
up. Yeah.
And it's one of those things, right? It's those movies that you're like, you're watching and you're like, oh no, oh no, oh
Don't
no,
do it.
yeah, don't do it, oh no, yeah.
Well, that's what I was talking about. How does it come across as awkward? Is it awkwardly real? Is it awkwardly perverted? Is it awkwardly insecure because you fucked a pie too? Like what is?
It's even like what we were saying.
We've all
too,
been
like,
in one of these scenarios.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I was hoping to unpack out of this, where it's like, what do you see on screen that reminds you of a moment in your life where you're like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like
for some reason, Chloe Sevigny is in so many awkward sex scenes.
She has.
You look through her filmography, and
Yes.
it's like, holy shit, there's a lot of.
Yeah, and part of it is like, wow, like good, like you embrace the art form, you embrace your body, like you obviously have confidence and believe, like good for you. But it's true, there are somewhere I'm like,
And
Because
is-
Brown
Bunny
does it just find her?
Yeah,
is
or
there
like,
something
is it
that's
like gravitated?
attracted, right?
Yeah.
like she was in Big Love,
yeah, she was
right? Like she was breaking a lot of sexual
totally,
boundaries,
Totally.
in a lot of different ways.
yeah, and she
being
played
the young sister wife, right?
Yeah.
was in a,
Yeah.
She was in a show that she actually plays a transgendered. She's an assassin, a man who's transitioning into a
Cool.
woman. But like, yeah, and what I'm saying about that
Going
is
through the journey of an assassin.
and there's a lot of nudity. Like, there's a lot of scenes where she's very vulnerable and everything, and it's like,
right. Like she's an American
yeah,
Psycho.
American Psycho,
Boys Don't
yeah,
Cry.
Boys Don't Cry.
which was that was a huge one too.
I'm always
Like,
she's
so
she's
many-
Well,
one of the
it's funny
ones-
you mentioned Kids, and it was her and Rosario Dawson are the two.
Yeah,
that
the two
I was
names that
like,
came
I
out
never
of that.
realized that
It's
was Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, yeah, and that was another thing that was crazy is he casted kids, like they're fucking kids in that movie.
Well, and that's where you
They're
get
all
into
like
this.
17, 18 years old.
They're
maybe
not
in that movie.
25-year-olds
No,
playing
Yeah.
16-year-olds.
No. They are 16, 17-year-olds.
You're just
dealing
going
with
go like
insane subjects.
here's enough for you.
Subjects that they probably
Go.
in their personal lives didn't even, I would hope to God, didn't even,
It almost
encounter.
seemed like one of those movies that they show in school to like tell
Scare
you
the
not to
shit out of you.
Scared straight.
Well, Bully
kind of
was like,
things.
I will never be mean to anyone again. Requiem. I will never do heroin or any hard drug anything. Like kids don't have unprotected
Almost like
sex ever.
PSAs.
Totally, man. And it was effective.
I can draw a
Fuck me up.
direct line between looking at heroin in real life for the first time and remembering the hole in Jared Leto's arm. Like
Getting cut off and
like-
just feeling it. Remember
and just
when he
being like, I'm out of
bumps-
this room. I'm
Yeah.
out of this room. I don't want to be like a movie. Like
Even the mom when she's going
I've been warned.
I just remember Train Spotting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to swim out a toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is awkward because it was awkward in real life, because it's not a scene that I wanted to watch with this person.
Oh.
And it's the we were talking about this before the show. It's the
48 or what is it? 9.5 weeks with your mother.
Yeah, no,
Oh God.
that's the title of my porno. That's the title of my porno. For the sake of the show, guys. No, it's the rape scene in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the David Fincher version.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. This is a Christmas movie, by the way, guys. This is what I
is
was
a
like, Mom, we should go see this for
It
Christmas.
did come out. It
Like
did come
on
out.
Christmas?
Yeah, it was our Christmas
It
Day
came
movie.
out on like December 15th, I think, or something weird
We
like
went
that.
to midnight
yeah.
mass after that. Talk about a day,
And forever.
right? Like that's not going away in my
Cleanse you.
brain. Yeah, power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
So no, but it is, if you haven't seen it, don't skip to it. First of all, but like watch the whole movie because it'll help with it.
Context.
Context, very nuance is important. So it's the scene where her, I guess, social worker is taking advantage of her, court caseworker,
Yes.
court delegate,
Yes.
and because she's so mentally ill, she's not allowed to take care of her money, even though she's completely more than capable of.
Is that like her conservator?
That's
like, is
what.
that like
That's,
totally.
Yes.
Totally.
Is this? Are we seeing Britney?
It's like her financial. Yeah, it is. Totally.
What was her name in the movie? What's her name?
Elizabeth Slander.
Lisbeth.
Yes, Lisbeth.
Yeah.
Free Lisbeth.
Solander.
Lisbeth
Salander,
Salander. Yeah. But it's the scene where the only way she can get money from him is if she blows him or has sex with him, and then she records it, and she's raped anally, and she comes back for a second time, but the second time is payback.
Yes.
And it is joyful to watch in regards to this guy getting payback,
Yes.
but not being able to turn my head for worry that my mother would either be buried in her purse or the real, like, fully immersed in it, and not being able to look away. Like, I didn't know how to react to seeing that with my mom, because my mom always fast forwarded the sex scenes when we were kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like whenever we had movie night, she'd always be like, "Oh, I know what's coming in this
Yes,
scene, right?"
yeah,
Never
yeah.
allowed to
Go
see
get popcorn. And
Yeah,
then she's
right.
fast forwarding.
Can't look at Mel Gibson's butt in Lethal Weapon. So, whatever. But like, so we couldn't fast forward it. So like, this was the first time.
It's also kind of a critical point in the movie.
It's a very critical point in the
It
movie
is.
to her
It's-
character.
It's very pivotal to the whole story, basically.
It changes everything about her.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and I finally am able to like unfreeze, and I look over, and she's just like we're at that point, but I'm like, I don't know, I was like in my 20s at this point, right? So it was a lot different from her being like, "Don't look on the screen, Michael." But I honestly felt it was coming. I thought there was going to be it was going to be like just a giant amount of shame in the room. We'd have to leave.
Oh yeah, I would
think they-
expect.
Go ahead.
No,
I was just going to say I was going to say the shame comes from when it's a sex scene that is somewhat titillizing.
Sure.
And you're awkward.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah, okay.
not titillizing sex. Well, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, it's not. It was nobody was titillated. But like, yeah, I didn't have to cross my legs in front of my. But like on the flip side of that, the other one that I have, and I've told this story before, and I'll tell it again, is I thought the Cream of Some Young Guy from Wayne's World was something completely different.
That's right.
So I had ordered the Cream of Some Young Guy at a Chinese food court
Oh,
counter
no.
when I was a kid after I'd seen Wayne's World. That was really awkward for my mom, because she had like the lady, all shocked, and my mom just looked down at me, and we went and sat. And that's when I found out what the Cream of Some Young Guy was. It wasn't on
God.
you couldn't order it. With,
Cream of some young.
you couldn't order it with
That's
cheese.
off menu.
That is definitely off menu. I think that's northern Chinese.
Yeah.
Actually, more southern. If you really want to get into.
Depends on your perspective.
Oh shit! It was number 69 on the menu. There it is. So yeah, those are my.
I would expect you to look at your mom, and your mom just shaking her head no at you. Like,
Yeah.
what have you done?
I picked it.
You
That
ruined
was,
Christmas, Michael.
Well, that was the thing, was I had picked this movie and sold her on like crime, thriller, the things that she likes, and she's like, "I think Daniel Craig's handsome," and I was like, "Perfect."
My mom covered my eyes during Titanic when
Oh,
Rose was getting drawn.
Pay me like one of your girls.
That was
Jack.
a very awkward fight with my mom in the theater.
See, that's the weird titillizing
Moving.
Yeah,
sort of like,
yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Your mom doesn't want you to see
Yeah.
it because she thinks you're going to like it.
Well, and what it
yeah.
was my mom made the mistake of covering my eyes before the scene even started. So I'm like, what's going on? What do you mean? And then when I was breaking through, I'm like, woman in a robe? Now I know what's happening. So now it's like, no, I need to see now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, and you know what? I think one that still sticks with me is, and I'd only seen it recently. Well, I'd seen it, but I'd seen it forever. Was the sex scene in the room? I think.
God!
And I think what's so awkward
God.
about that is
He's banging her belly button, or
he's banging her belly. He's so high up on her. Like logistically, you can see
at
him.
one point it looks like a symbiote molding with another symbiote.
Like
you don't even see faces
Russian gymnast
or limbs.
folding,
Oh,
sort of like
so gross.
like a circus performance, not an act. But what it is it's Tommy thinking that this is what
yeah.
makes him a man. Like
Yeah.
what's awkward about it is that he's completely misrepresented as
He
sex
puts
scene.
rose petals all over.
Yeah,
her.
like it's a music
it's
video.
a choir singing in the
right?
It's like an R&B group.
It's a
singing in
fucking
the
R.
back.
Kelly video.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
so
love you through the fire.
Boys to
It's
Men
so
rip
gross.
off shit, and
It's so gross.
and it happens like 4 times in the fucking
Oh,
movie.
it's
Like
disgusting. And they're
he's-
long.
they're
like
long.
7-minute scenes.
Holy crap.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, it's ridiculous.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
But it was just awkward to watch because, well, that's just a really horrible misinterpretation of trying to convey a sex scene on screen.
Ugh,
But I don't know.
he's a genius.
On the other hand, like, does any really natural, organic sex scene come to mind before we move on? Like, have you ever seen one where you were like, that really? Because sometimes they're not needed, right? Like, we don't need sex between characters to understand love if the acting's good enough, right? Like,
Yeah, or
what
you
is-
can do. I like the classic jump cut where like maybe shirt starts coming off, or you see shirt drop to the floor. Jump cut next morning.
Yeah,
You know?
imply.
Yeah,
I
like
don't.
the
When I was
classic 80s, 90s. We can't get an R rating.
yeah,
Let's go for the 14.
when I was
jump cut.
when we were all 14, it was fun because you were like boner, right?
Right.
But now
right.
that you have a critical eye and you enjoy cinema and television in a different way,
Correct.
you're going,
Well,
give me more character story. I
Right.
don't need boning.
I think if it's only a sex scene for being a sex scene,
Okay, for
the
or
sake of
a reason to see
arbitrary.
an attractive male or female
Yeah.
actor
Yeah.
partially or fully naked,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be there.
Right.
But when it's pivotal to the story,
Yeah.
somewhat.
Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Like
You know,
that's the point of the story.
For some
right?
reason, I thought, what's
Disclosure.
Disclosure. Great one.
The one that popped in my mind that's awkward
one, actually.
is what's the fucking hacker movie?
Oh,
Hackers?
No, where
I wished it was Hackers.
with
Johnny Mnemonic? Not Johnny Mnemonic.
no. Why am I? It's gonna sound so stupid that I'm blanking on it. Swordfish.
Oh,
have you
Swordfish.
seen
Yeah.
with the blowjob.
Where he's hacking and she starts blowing him.
Totally pivotal of the scene.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
'Cause
and right that totally. Because right, there's even moments where he's like, and then he's like, "You're losing time, buddy," because he's got to do it under 2 minutes while he's getting blown.
Yeah.
he's got to hack like an account or something. Yeah, and it's an audition.
He's
to see how good of a hacker.
That shows the
Right.
perverse nature of Travolta's character.
Right.
While at the same time conveys how hard it would be, literally, for a
Yes.
guy to do that job. 'Cause
Now-
all the guys in the room, that's a guy movie.
And you can relate to it.
You can relate to
But
it.
going
so
back
it's
to the
doing its
same
job.
movie, they also have just random. Let's just get Halle Berry topless.
Yes.
He comes out
Not
of nowhere.
needed.
Hey, can I get your keys? And she just takes removes a book or something, and then he gives her the keys, and it's Hugh Jackman gets a little awkward for a bit.
Let me go on the
no
record
reason
here.
for that.
Yeah,
That's
at
not
all.
needed.
Not at
Yeah.
all. Not
now,
at all.
hang on. Really nice to look at. Not
Totally.
needed.
Exactly. But then later on,
I don't want to discount Halle Berry.
No,
and-
she's still
being a beautiful woman.
right. If she did that in a
But-
movie, still, I'd be like, I will see it.
Her in the skirt and the heels.
Well, and what I was going to say is, there's
that was
other,
already not a lot of clothing.
Then you also have that other shot where she's taking off her clothes, looks super hot doing it, but she's wearing a wire.
Yes.
Pivotal reason.
Yes.
Pivotal reason for that. Looks super hot. She looks great. And but again, reasoning. The topless one, it's
No-
just there
no
because
reason.
you're a guy and you're like, yeah,
You're
movies.
you're
And
a
it's
guy
Halle Berry,
director.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
But-
That's what you can get away with.
Funny enough, though, I just want to say, because that was hilarious, Halle Berry actually, when they were at the MTV Awards, Hugh Jackman and John Travolta were presenting an award or something, and she said something along the lines of, go see Swordfish. You don't see this, but you get to see these or something like
I
that.
saw it. I saw
right?
it,
And
yeah.
it was interesting because I'm like, if someone did that now,
big
People would be
trouble.
like, boo, right?
Yeah. That's being sassy
I'm
on
all for
stage.
I'm all for women though, like taking that power back.
Totally.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Totally. I think it's okay if she says. If it was
100%.
Hugh Jackman or John Travolta, that's not okay.
Oh.
But her doing it and the way she did it,
Okay.
she knew what she was
So
doing.
guys,
right?
Sharon Bayer that we got to talk to, the intimacy coach,
Yes.
that's what's being done now.
Yeah.
Is that there is a conversation.
Yeah.
They're all in the room. They're
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
what
yeah.
matters? What doesn't matter? Why? Why do we need this? Instead of this is written, so it shall be.
Right.
Don't argue, you'll lose your career.
And that's what I mean. I think totally, unless it's pivotal, like we were saying, like it's a rape that happens or something like the hacking.
I like seeing the
audition
dildo
thing
kicked
or
up his
whatever.
ass. I'm not going to
But-
lie. I enjoyed that. The guy got his comeuppance.
But if it's going to be something where it's like this is a scene to just show the passion of these characters,
Yep.
then the
Yeah.
actress and the actors that are doing it should be the ones that are choreographing.
Yep.
How would you like? How do you think?
How do you
your
feel
characters
comfortable?
Would have right?
How do you feel comfortable?
Right, and I think it's because of the fact is, because I'm assuming, like, if I was writing a script,
It's
I
one
would
thing on
just
the
write,
page.
and
It's-
then they have sex, and then we cut to close up, right? Like, no, they're
Sex scene, fade to black.
love scene, boom, right? That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna, and I think because it's them performing with the intimacy coach, the only people in the room are those three. And the filmmaker. How am I filming it?
Yeah.
Whatever. How am
Yeah.
I framing it?
Yeah.
That's all that needs to be in that room.
I believe,
and they should be doing it together.
Listen to the episode, everybody, because it was super cool to talk to her. But I believe it's director, cinematographer, actors.
That's it.
Like,
that's all that should be it.
Everybody does that,
And it should always be a closed
set.
set. There's no reason it should never not be. When you hear those horror stories, like we were talking about disclosure, like I think Demi Moore was even saying, like on striptease, there'd be certain scenes, like the scene where she's dancing and vibing. It was an open set, which is weird.
That's a very
Weird.
Yeah.
What's the
Why?
reason?
And you could tell. I'm again. I'm not. I don't want to point fingers or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were some guys on crew that are like, "We got to get to set,
Yes.
right? Because we're allowed
Dude,
to
it's
be
your
there,
day
right?
off.
Like,
Yep.
right? But we got to get to set.
you called in sick
Yeah.
today, motherfucker.
Not, I want to see how they're going to blow up the skyscraper like
Yeah.
that. No, I want to see this. Debbie Moore's dancing today.
And that's
Right?
what doesn't need to happen.
That's
Exactly.
fucking horrible.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. Now that after we talk about sex, we get racy in 2022. This one comes from. Did you all get a chance to see the video in the clip? It's fine if you did.
Which one are we talking about?
We're going to talk about Star Wars Hotel.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
watched,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
so
yeah.
this is
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the
yeah.
biggest fucking pieces of bullshit.
I like that
happened
you guys
over-
went with the theme thematic shirts
Oh
today.
yeah, look at that.
I had to bring this guy out when
Oh,
I heard.
yeah.
I was like, of course.
I'm ready to talk Star Wars. So anyways, what happened was, and I heard about this when I went to Galaxy's Edge. I'm just using this as a reason to talk about it, really. No, but they had started talking about the second ride that they were making, which was the Imperial Walker ride that
Yep.
you could be a part of that I didn't get to
Oh.
do. And then they were also talking about the hotel, the all-inclusive getaway that is now this. So listener out there is a Star Wars themed hotel. I think it's in California to start. No, it is in Florida. It's in Florida. And it is completely 100% Star Wars themed. You dress up in costume when you get there. You are assigned a position and a character.
Cool.
There are no windows because you are on a spaceship. You experience this place. I believe a minimum of 3 days is required. Here's the kicker. Here's what's so ridiculous. It's $5,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And everybody was like,
So that's not that's not a package. Like
that's
that
not
doesn't
that,
airfare.
that's you
just-
gotta get there.
Oh my god.
So it's another $3 or $4 grand in airfare.
Yeah, it'd
depending
be
on
like
where
a
you're coming
10
from.
grand to get the actual
Yeah,
package.
and
Let's
it's
The
say.
one I read, it said it was like a 2 or 3 day, but it also includes like
Yes.
that's your time.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're only doing
It's
that.
all immersive.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I'm not saying that was a bad price until we all saw
Yeah.
the video.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest piece of marketing bullshit from It's happened in 2021.
It's like a reverse fire festival,
Yeah.
which is confusing.
So it is immersive. Like you report to positions and you experience rides and games
Yes,
and things
yeah.
like that. Like this sounds like a lot of fun, but then when you look at this marketing video that they did, it's like cheap plastic.
And this is Disney. Like they didn't
Yeah.
even put an effort to make just make the video look good. Well, you know what I mean? Like they didn't even try and do that.
This is the arrogance of the buy now.
Yeah.
This is Disney going, we got you. We can get a little slack.
But
it's
is
like,
it?
In what way? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to throw the other side of it
yeah.
is coming from. So you're coming from a
Fanboy.
fanboy, yes, but you're coming from like a movie down perspective, right? You're taking a Star Wars turning into a hotel.
Okay.
What happens if you just take it from a Disney World perspective of taking the park experience and bringing it closer to the movies? I think in that sense, you know, it's like if you've been to Disney World, what I saw in that video is a step up from most rides.
Mm-hmm.
It's a step up from most of the immersive experiences that I've experienced at Disney World. So it's sitting in that limbo between what was currently offered at the park and, you know, the movies. But I think if you go from the bottom up instead of the top down, you're still going to be pretty impressed.
This is where I hate him for calling me out and being right. I don't hate him, but he's got a very fucking good point.
If you seen that video, now think again. Like, this is a tough exercise. If you went into that video and it wasn't titled "People Disappointed with the experience," and it was entitled "Check out the cool shit that Disney's doing," and you have a chance to be part of it, and you saw the same video, would you see it in a different light?
Probably.
Yes. Dad.
Yeah, I think so.
No. When they're in the screen and they're actually like fighting TIE fighters or like outside of the window and the guy's targeting them and the other person's shooting in that video. Did you see that part?
I did see that
It's
part.
an interactive space fight.
Yeah.
Like,
that's badass.
That looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, you were pretty excited about your lightsaber. If
now
you got
here-
to be in a
now-
room and had lasers shooting at you that interacted with your lightsaber, would you think that's pretty cool?
Okay. Now,
Just because you didn't have a flying droid doing it, like around, like
yeah.
a training droid or whatever the fuck that thing's called.
Oh yeah.
having experienced what I experienced and then seeing what I saw, I didn't think the problem was what was made. I think the problem is in the price. That's what I was like. This is where I stand on it, is that I think Mark is totally 100% right. I was acting earlier. I wasn't. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it should be $2,500 a person. I think what they're doing is really cool.
Well, that's
because
what they said. It's $5,000 for a couple.
Oh, did I misread that?
Oh yeah, no, they said $5,000 for a couple, $6,000 for a family of four.
Oh.
I missed that too. Then
I
And
didn't
it's 2
understand the
days.
'cause
assignment.
that's not bad. That's not bad then.
Okay.
And it's 2 days, and it also
2
includes
days minimum.
So
right? Yeah.
you're in the hotel. They have
This is changing for me
they
now
have
because-
interactive
okay,
experiences.
yes.
Lightsaber training. You do an excursion to Galaxy's Edge. That's a special insider excursion part of experiencing that part of the park from the Star Cruiser perspective.
Yes. For somebody going to this for the first time, I
Restaurants
can
that you could only get in the Star Cruiser.
I was gonna say, and you probably
Activities
get
that are
priority.
only available within the Star Cruiser.
Yeah,
I'm not.
and you get priority. I imagine on Galaxy's
I
Edge and
100% need to kind of reverse my stance here and about face because I thought it was $5,000 a person. I missed that part.
The article I saw, it said $5,000 a couple, $6,000 for a family of four.
Okay, then first of all, the couple thing seems fine because I know I spent just shy of $2,000 to be at both parks, Universal and or both Universal parks, over the course of 3 days. Like going in, spending stuff, all that, it equaled to that. So if you take that out of the equation the next time you go, $2,500 doesn't seem like a lot of money. But I'm also, a dink. I don't have any kids, and I do what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Now knowing that, I misread the article. I thought it was $10,000 for 2 people to go, which I just thought was astronomical.
That's
That's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So here it is, ladies.
Buy a house.
Totally. I am wrong.
Car, 2 days.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a little better.
Yeah.
I didn't think the video was that bad. I thought the video was bad only by comparison to my misunderstanding.
Yeah, because you're looking at the
price.
video being like, I'm paying 5 Gs for this. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also looked at it and said, like, they're criticizing, like, they're using a trumped up iPhone as some sort of hologram producer. I'm like,
Yeah, but it's producing a
how
hologram.
young are you?
I know. Yeah.
like in my life, if you showed me the fucking iPhone 3 and said that would exist at some time, I would have fucking been blown away. So that is
Literally.
incredible to me.
Yeah.
Guys,
But that's again kids being born
Right?
with technology in their hands from the day.
I thought a
right?
fucking
Like,
transponder was
Yeah.
gonna be fucking cool.
Yeah, man.
That's just a flip phone.
yeah, yeah.
We paid $500 just to do Disney when we went to Hollywood Studios. Like we went to everything else, but
Yeah.
like I didn't do the Aerosmith ride. I didn't do the Tower of Terror. Like we
Yeah, yeah.
just did Star Wars. For $250 American, it was worth it
Yeah.
because of all these experiences. I can say that if they're giving you the Past the Galaxy's Edge and getting to do that background thing where you don't have to wait in 3-hour lineups to get on the Millennium Falcon.
Totally worth it.
Like I had to cry in front of to get on in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Fucking
I see it being as you go for a week. You spend 5 days doing something else, and you check into the hotel for a 2-day, fully immersive
Check
Star
out.
Wars
Totally.
experience.
check in to
It's
check
a
out.
2-day ride.
Yeah. So why not? Yeah,
Is
yeah.
basically what you're paying for.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're taken care of, right? So it's
Like how much fun do you have in a 20-minute ride? This is a 2-day ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, Millennium was about 7.
Whoa.
So no, maybe 5.
And
Yeah,
at
I moved
probably
out of
any
time.
point of your stay, you can just wander
Right.
around and
Right.
take
Well,
it
and
all in.
There, I also read that like when you dress up, people interact with you. So you're going to your appointed rides
Yes.
in your experiences,
Right.
and like the lightsaber thing is super fucking cool. And
Yeah.
you know what? Yeah, it is. Again, it was price that was telling me because I'd seen what $500 got us to
Well,
walk
yeah.
around on Tatooine and see it, and it is plastic, but it's attention to detail changes everything.
Yeah,
on
like
these
I heard
panels.
they even have I heard they even went into detail of putting rust on things.
Yes.
when it's like and
There's
you know what I mean?
moss
Like,
and rust
yeah,
and,
moss
and
and-
missing like a missile's hanging off because the coupling is broken. Like there
Yeah.
are things that are.
I heard stormtroopers hassle people. Like they walk
do.
around and ask you if you're. With the
I walked up
Republic.
to
Yeah.
one and he was like,
Yeah.
you're not who we're looking for,"
Yeah, it's great.
and they just give you
And they
shit.
detain people.
They detain.
actually
They
detain
mess
people.
with kids.
Yeah.
Like the whole
They're
experience.
like, you're
is
rebel
fun.
scum, and they'll grab. I've seen them be like rebel scum, and they'll just grab random people and escort them. It's
If you're a
great.
fan, come on.
I know.
Well,
like, right?
that's kind
Yeah.
of what it's
Yeah.
and it's built for that. So
And it's a fan experience,
Yeah.
right? It's like we pay to get somebody we like who plays a character to sign a piece of thing we like.
Yeah.
And we pay $100
Yeah.
for that,
or like
right? Or more.
people pay people to dress up and show up to birthday parties, right? It's like bring the world to us.
Yeah,
and
you get a
whatnot,
Disney
right?
princess
Right,
for
right.
$500 for
Yeah,
your kid's
right.
birthday.
Right.
Based on that, a fully immersive 24-hour day, 2-day experience in Disney World.
with extras for $2,500.
So you're walking around with a lightsaber, somebody calls you Master Jedi. That's just like the greatest feeling in the world. I'd
Well,
say.
and you get a Jedi robe.
yeah, like you
If
have the
like-
robe and everything.
And I know
And if there's a lobby where like random creatures
yeah,
from different worlds
the
and
cantina.
characters are coming through, would
Yeah.
you just not go sit in the lobby for hours on end?
yeah, like
yeah,
like to be able to see
you
the
got-
cantina, right? That's like a cantina experience.
Dude, I have the
right?
money in
Like,
my account right now. I would do it again
Yeah.
if I'm on board with this now that I'm well
So
informed.
In
Like, it's-
Disney World, there's and sorry to just
No,
hijack this.
no.
There's a thing called the Adventurers Club, and it's on what's the island? What do they call the adult part of downtown Disney? Pleasure Island, right?
yes.
From Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
cool.
That's the adult 18
Yeah.
and over. So there's a place called the Adventurers Club that you go in. It's like a bar thing, but it's like dinner theater. So you actually go in, like while you're waiting, there's an area that has all these different rooms and stuff, and there's characters that are different adventurers from different parts of the world. So there's
so
like
cool.
there's like the pilot that's explored so and so,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
the
yeah.
great African adventurer that's blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and they go around and they sit down and they talk to you about their adventures, and the rooms are interactive and the stories,
so cool.
and then you go into another room and there's a whole stage show that involves it's the Adventure of the Year awards.
Yeah.
And they run it from all over the different place. And I go to that place every time I go there. I'll go there every fucking night because it's not a show. You're
No, yeah.
interacting with characters.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like
it's
different,
about-
It's
right?
immersive.
And that's only just random fucking people being adventurers.
And you know it'll be different every
if I could
time,
go to
right? Like-
Star Wars and
Yeah.
be around these
Yeah.
people that were in,
Yeah.
and Disney, they know how to be in character.
I was gonna say
You're not going to see Mickey Mouse smoking out the fucking
no,
back door.
no. That's like
Guys,
an actor's
it's-
dream come
it-
true.
it
man.
is-
Like I would love to. Do
I
that
think
for a
people
living.
are looking at it from I think there's some fucking spoiled, rotten internet
but that's what it is. That's what it is.
bloggers that just want to
Yeah.
shit on things that,
Dude, I still.
I
have
was one of them
never-
10 minutes ago.
I've never been to Universal Studios. I've never been to Disney World or anything. Like me and Claudia are planning to do like
Do
Harry
it.
Potter, Universal, like
It
you know what I
is-
mean. But like just hearing the stuff you guys are, just to be there and feel like, oh my God, I'm on Tatooine right now. You know what I mean? Or like, oh my God. Because I saw like the pictures you posted, just seeing where the Millennium Falcon is. It's in the hangar, right? It's like in the hangar. So it feels like A New Hope. When the Millennium and like Obi-Wan sacrifices
the Millennium Falcon experience.
They built the whole fucking ship, right?
So
like they actually built it.
They trick you. So they built the ship.
Yeah.
But you don't go on that ship. You walk up a ramp that goes into the back that has
so it's like
two
set pieces, essentially.
It's a replica.
Yeah, okay.
To scale.
But they let you see it, and then they let you go into another one, kind of thing.
Yeah, you go into two cockpits.
Cool.
That are replicas.
Yeah.
So you start your experience from the chessboard. When you walk in.
Oh, nice.
So the chessboard is there, the cargo bay is there,
Yeah,
ramps that you see in the shots where they come out from hiding in the Falcon, that's what you walk around.
Cool.
And then
See, how cool is that?
That's so cool.
Guys, I know how cool it is.
That's cool.
I just thought $5,000 is too
Yeah,
much.
no,
I spent $5,000 for the whole thing 2 years ago.
That's what I mean.
And had a lot of fun. I have a reference point for this, and I'm a fan. I have a lightsaber that I paid $300 American for. Like, it was
worth it.
It was worth every minute. I just thought Disney was getting a little arrogant with everything.
Now,
when
when you built this, if there was a VIP package where then now a fucking Jedi took you into a room for an hour, just you and them for an hour,
Padawan training,
how much more were you going to pay for that?
$500.
Yeah,
American.
Easy. Now, what we're talking about here is we started at the beginning. We're coming full circle. This is shit that we love from kids. We now have adult money to do.
That's what I mean, right?
With a little bit of fuck you money.
This is shit we could never dream of when we were kids because it was like, I have to ask my parents.
It's
I have
not,
to get allowance.
It's not
right?
for a 10-year-old
No.
that's being introduced to Star Wars through Disney Plus.
No.
It's for us.
Yeah,
that's why. Fucking lived
that's why they're doing Boba Fett and all these things. It's us, man. Like they wouldn't give a fuck about these characters.
You get a blue milk, like you get a blue milk.
Yeah, when you said that's cool. What does it taste like?
Who cares?
I'm just so curious.
Dude, when you go to Harry Potter, do you care what butterbeer tastes like?
No, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it. I'm just gonna have it to find out.
I can tell you though, Duff beer is similar to like Rickard's Red.
But the butterbeer in Harry Potter, whatever it is, it's this like caramel Slurpee. It's fucking good.
That's what I heard. That's
Dude,
what I heard.
Okay, like when you go to Harry Potter World.
But it's what you would want, right? You're like, this tastes like butterbeer, right?
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be like something you're like, oh.
Do you know when you buy a wand in Harry Potter, there's locations that you can go to throughout the world, and if you wave your wand, it fucking is interactive?
Get the fuck
you,
out of here.
You play magic.
You can make shit do
out of here,
shit.
man.
Somebody,
That's how it should be, though, man.
Somebody we know was going to give us their kids, but they broke it before we were leaving. And I was like, well, we'll buy one when we get there. And I was like, this is a $100 wand. I'm like, I'm if I had one, I'd have done it. But I'm like, I'm not spending $100 on this wand.
I got Claudia for Christmas, Hermione's wand, and it's a company that makes the knockoffs of the company that makes and it looks legit. It's got the weight and everything. Like, you wouldn't know.
Knockoffs are still,
But
man.
a friend of mine brought Sirius Blacks that she got from it. And like even the packaging, like it's exactly like the fucking movie, man. Like it's crazy. And it says like Ollivanders like on it. Like it's got like it's.
And when you're a fan,
yeah,
like because thinking this hotel, it's not just a fucking hotel. It's an experience.
It's Star Wars. Like you're in a Star Wars pod, basically.
I don't love Star Wars near as much as you do, and I think that would be a fucking awesome experience. And if it was something that I loved, like. I don't know. Fucking take my money.
So
like,
you went.
I'll save up for
You
it.
went to Harry Potter, like the
Harry Potter.
I've been to Harry
Potter,
and it was awesome.
I wasn't to Galaxy's Edge, but it was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not even a huge nerd. Like I like it.
Yeah,
and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, see, and we're diehard Harry Potter.
I spent
Diagon Alley is like
you book your experience in the wand shop. Have you seen this? It's just if you book an experience, you go in and they fit you for a wand and the wand picks you and and the whole room has animatronics and things are fucking rattling up on shelves and it's fucking amazing.
Dude,
like I
was walking through and the odd one would get pushed out like onto the floor and you walk in
just like it is.
The walls are like just stacked like
Now,
12
if you were in a
fucking-
Star Cruiser, Mike, and your room that you were staying in, you were in a fucking hallway of a spaceship, and you walked to your door and you put your card up and it fucking slid open, I would just stand there and fucking open and close my door for an hour.
Man, I wonder if too. It'd be so cool if you can put a setting in your room that they'll play fake alerts, like they do, like the alert system.
Like, come
when
on.
Who
the
knows if
ship's
they,
getting
who
attacked
knows
or
if
something.
they don't? I'm probably going to go now. Now
See,
that
I
I
would
know
love
it's a lot cheaper.
Just the way you're describing it, everything, even just to be a part of the team that gets to build that shit.
Oh, the
and gets
Imagineers?
to create that experience.
Yeah.
That's a dream job. You're literally making dreams come true.
Yeah.
Like literally, right?
Okay, so then
Amazing.
with all of this in mind now, how adult fanboy we are, off the top of your head, we'll close this out. What movie would you want to have a full immersive experience in? Because Star Wars, obviously, we're leaning towards this guy over here, his love of it. So I want to know, like, is there a drama that you would like to, like? Do you want to have a Godfather experience? Do you want to? Do you want to have a Step Brothers experience?
I want to be able to go to
Like-
the bathroom and grab a gun from the toilet and then go back and just kill whoever is sitting at my table. But it's all like
It's a
there's
hologram.
like actors, yeah, or it's like actors that fall
It's called
backwards and,
Westworld.
like-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want as your Westworld?
But exactly, Star Wars is cool because it is a universe and it is a part of my youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my major love, but
It's your minor.
It's still pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I would love to go do
Okay,
that.
yeah.
But I think maybe another twist on something that I've always wanted to do, and when I heard it's like a 2-day, which is sort of like a weekend getaway, I've always wanted to do a completely, fully immersive, like murder mystery house where you stay there for the weekend and your entire, like, you get woken up in the middle of the night with a murder. You I would love to do that, and maybe like give me a Knives Out, like
a
real
Clue
life
Knives
Knives
Out.
Out,
Yeah,
Clue,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
being immersed in the game of Clue.
Yeah.
And it's 24 hours a day for 2 fucking days.
Does this exist?
I don't know, but I would love to do it. Because I always think everything
think
to me is
that's
too
so cool.
short. A murder mystery dinner is too short.
Yeah.
A fucking escape room
Too
for
short.
an hour is
Yeah.
too short.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want a weekend escape
Yeah.
fucking room.
Get in my
yeah.
fucking head
Right?
for,
Yeah.
for 72 hours
Yeah.
and scramble my brain.
Yeah.
And
I would pay a lot for that.
I would pay $1,000 for
that
that
would
for a
be-
weekend.
That'd be fucking
Yeah.
wicked.
Like
Totally.
like your own game, your own Michael Douglas game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? That
Yeah.
maybe there's a little life lesson in it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they find out a fear of yours and they
How fucking cool would that be?
like if they did that and like they were like, what are you afraid of? And Sean was like, spiders. And the theme was like a spider venom or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
how
yeah.
they cater to your
Yeah.
shit and,
Yeah.
and use a blueprint from a film.
I just thought murder mystery, you go, and the Adventures Club gave me that thought too. You go have dinner. Shit starts happening. You meet people. Suddenly in the evening, you're having some drinks, blah, blah, blah. You go to bed. You get awoken at 2 a.m. from
Yeah.
the curdling scream of someone
Or
being murdered
exactly.
down.
You just hear the loud
You go
yeah.
back to bed. You're nervous. You don't really sleep. You get up in the morning. You meet everybody for breakfast. You start talking about the murder. A fucking detective. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
would just be
Or like
insane.
you're going to the washroom and there's someone in the
Yeah.
hallway who's patrolling and they're like, and you have to tell them and they're like, hey, we'll
Come
make it
on.
quick. And you're like, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, then if that's the case, give me the movie Seven.
Oh my
Oh,
God, you want to
God.
experience the 7 deadly sins, eh?
I want to experience 7 deadly
and
sins
it always ends
over a
where you
weekend.
and it always
the,
ends
the
where you
Saw Hotel.
yeah.
Right.
You find out what's in the box and it's your receipt. That's how
Yeah.
it ends.
Yes.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
The bill.
it's my bill.
Yeah.
What's in the box? And it's just your
18%
receipt, yeah.
grad tip
Yeah.
auto? What the fuck?
Son of a bitch.
What's yours, Charles?
You know, that's a
Talk about
great-
greed.
I almost feel like, you know what?
That's how they get you.
A studio, like my dream would be like if a studio made all their properties be able to like you could recreate your favorite scene. So like for instance, if you were like, I want to do the scene where Doc and Marty are in the parking lot and they get into the time machine, they do it and they bring out a DeLorean, they bring out the one that's all modded.
With
It's
plutonium.
got the interior the exact
You gotta
same.
turn the canister
you
to
got a flux
drop the
capacitor. You got it,
Don't
and they
stare
and they
directly
let
at
you
it.
actually go in and they let you drive to the 88, and they could even put something that goes over the screen, and then the car comes back. So you could do that. And if you were like, I want to do bullet time, they fit you in the suit, and you actually get the wire system, and they let you like go back, and you're actually on wire work kind of thing, but they'll let you do it. Like I think it would just be like kind of like. I don't know. I'm describing Westworld essentially, but you could pick what scene of a movie. Or they give you a catalog, kind of like when you go in the early, like long time ago, you could go get photos done, and they would say, "Choose your theme in the background."
Want
Right?
to be a dirty Western girl?
Yeah, right. So, but this would be more insanely interactive. You could actually recreate scenes. You
I'm
could
just-
like you could even do. like one of my favorites would be Spider-Man, but not even like when Toby first is climbing the wall and you're on a wire system and they could actually have you climbing the wall kind of thing.
So
like
you want
that.
like a day in the life of.
Yeah, and like
Give
you
me
could
like
pick
4
a
days,
scene.
you
Yeah.
know, like I want to be Ferris today.
Like you
or
could pick your favorite Bond chase scene. I want to be the car that goes underwater, and fuck, they have a giant set stage there. You get in your car and you go underwater. You get to experience that, or even just being in the hub kind of thing and feeling like you're experiencing it. I like the idea of immersion. You guys were talking about like in putting you totally immersed in it. Like even Batman, being able to wear the cowl and just sit in the Batmobile and like having that thing go, that would be so cool.
Yeah, or like
It'd be so cool.
like in the new Batmobile where you like go from sitting into
yeah,
like,
and he goes into
lying
that missile
down.
thing. You could actually, and then it could be an interactive game where you have to like line up and shoot, and the whole
Well, and then
tumbler.
you break away into the bike.
Yeah, and you could go into the bike,
and-
right?
I'm picturing
Like-
like on that same like a Marvel hotel, and that you have different like areas from
Yeah.
different movies and characters.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
you can like maybe you stay in. Maybe it's Iron Man in the rooms, right? Like Jarvis is built into your fucking room
Yeah.
or something like
Jarvis.
Yeah,
that.
he's immersed into the AI of the
Right,
room.
but there's a restaurant that's like fucking WandaVision, and it's back in the fucking 50s,
Yeah,
and something like
and
that.
everyone's wearing diner stuff. Yeah, man.
like like theme
Totally.
different areas into
Totally.
different shit would be pretty
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, Marvel's the next big property they're putting in down in Florida.
Yeah, they got Avengers Campus that they're pushing right now. I heard they already did an augmented reality without needing glasses. So they're trying to figure out a way that they can bring you an experience without having to wear a headset or have something on your face kind of thing. So it's
I'd like
just
to go
you're
through
there.
Terragenesis and see what my mind ability is.
Yeah. Could I do that actually? Yeah.
Is there an adamantium tube?
Yeah.
somewhere?
Do you guys have the adamantium? You just got to
Yeah.
sign a waiver, but
Yeah. I want to walk away better.
But you know what'd be funny is you even said like that. Imagine if they put you in that little pod and you could just experience what Cap was, and it's like shaking, and you're in there kind of thing, and it's like a ride itself, or the adamantium one.
That's what
You go in and you get submerged. You're not underwater. You're in a casing, but it gives you that idea of like, holy fuck, this would be crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
and like you have the props that you
oh
made.
my god,
You just have to
Weapon X
modify them.
facility. You could just go to the Weapon X facility and have a tour and see all the. You know what I mean? Like,
Come out
There's
as
yeah.
You could go down to the archery range.
Yeah, there you
fucking
go,
Hawkeye.
right?
You
Yeah.
mixed martial arts with Black Widow.
Our summer camp could be a reality.
Yeah.
People. This could be a real thing. You know?
Fucking Camp Avenger might be the next
Totally.
big property.
Fucking circle.
Totally.
All right.
Totally.
Well, we got one more item on the list, and I promised that this was the replacement. So we all had youth and like animated series that maybe were a little too old for us when we were younger. I don't know if it was just me. I know I've always like the through line with me is I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, my issue with animation is the lack of animation as a child, but there were some very questionable, crude 90s animated
Duckman.
series, thrust your pelvis, that had some fucking life that survived 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons sometimes.
Yeah.
And one of them is getting a resurgence, which is Beavis and Butthead. This is just this week. This is us dating ourselves. So this is just this week this came out. But images of the updated Beavis and Butthead were released.
Yeah.
And they aren't. Here's what's great about it, listener. They aren't redoing Beavis and Butthead. It's Beavis and Butthead at 40.
Yeah, no, they're continuing their story. It's like, let's see.
It's receding
Yeah,
hairlines.
Beavis
Now
has
that's even
glasses.
better.
Butthead's got a huge gut, but they're wearing the same shit.
They're them. But
That's
they're-
amazing.
Yeah, but it's
So-
them. So what? And what I'm excited is it's like their whole thing was they always just
They shit on everything.
They roasted everything.
Yeah.
And they were fucking kids that
So-
knew nothing. So
so-
they would roast things, right? Now they're adults.
Are they gonna shit on the things that kids are into nowadays?
That's what I'm hoping, man.
Okay.
And shit that they were into, but they're like, what idiots would do this?
You
And
might have
they're
sold me on
doing
this
it.
now.
You know, and
Can
it's
you-
Mike Judge doing
it's
everything.
Mike Judge.
Yeah, he's doing everything.
So if Mike Judge has given like Office Space,
And have you guys seen Beavis and Butthead Do America? Like the
Yeah,
movie? It's great,
it's-
right? That one's good.
him
It's
getting
stupid, but it's fun.
It was sketch based segments of roastings.
Yes.
of things on MTV.
Yes.
That was the premise of it.
Yeah.
It was designed to pump MTV's video watching.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it was one of the first commentaries, really,
Yes.
right?
And this is when people watched music videos, so hearing a funny commentary on those music videos you're watching
is the reason pop-up
made-
video was made.
Exactly. It made sense.
Tosh, right?
Right.
Like video critiquing is Beavis
Yeah.
and Butthead at its
And
core.
music videos in the 80s and 90s were fucking crazy.
They were invented in
Yeah.
82.
Right. Like
So,
they were nuts.
It was
like,
an
you know,
experimental fucking
right.
art form at the time.
Yeah.
Great to have commentary
And
on
having
that.
these two dumb kids make commentary on it was ridiculous.
I
right?
hope to high fucking heaven, Mike Judge, I know you're listening. I hope that you use this as a way to have conversations about the dumb shit that's happening
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
world now.
Yeah.
I hope for
Like-
if anybody can save us from what we're going through, it's
Yeah,
Beavis and Butthead.
and Idiocracy, like that whole
Right?
thing right there. I showed it to Claudia 2 weeks ago, and she loved it, but was like, "It's scary because I can see this." I'm like, more every day. That's
Like
why.
the movie Idiocracy?
Yeah,
Oh,
like you can right, and it's like more every day though. Like more every day. Mike Judge's satire is like, oh my god, it's more relatable. It's like what I was saying about Seinfeld. It's becoming more relatable.
You have
you know?
experience in life,
Right.
things that you didn't understand with
Right.
no experience,
Right.
like the cream of some young guy. You get
Oh yeah, I
And-
want to see Beavis and Butthead like fucking tear into fucking kids streaming on
I was gonna
Twitch
say,
and TikToking.
Social media in general, just their commentary on social media, right? And like again, what I love about like Beavis and Butthead actually started the universe. Like they don't say it openly, but their neighbor in the show is Hank Hill.
yeah.
It's
The
totally-
animation
yeah.
is twinning each other.
Right, and
They
that's
are running the
what
same
birthed
lane.
King of the Hill is
Yeah.
that neighbor.
Propane lane.
Yeah, right.
I
And
sell
like,
propane accessories.
and in Beavis and Butthead, he's just this weird neighbor that they fuck with, but then it became King of the Hill, and it
Yeah.
became this right. So, and what's funny is that like,
so will Hank walk into a scene?
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what are we gonna get? Even in Beavis and Butthead Do America, one of the big cameos they have is Demi Moore and Bruce Willis voice characters in it. And at that time, they were together still.
That's right.
And it was so funny in the movie, right? And like, I'm wondering if they're going to have cameos like that. Are we going to get some big names that do some random voice
Ben
work or
Affleck and
whatnot?
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah. But even the fact that, like I told you guys, like the one that came out 10 years ago when it was them instead of music videos, they still did music videos. But what was funny was because they hadn't done it in like almost 20 years, they could do any music video. It wasn't
They had
just
a huge
music
catalog.
videos now.
Yeah.
They were doing all catalogs. So it was really funny. But them roasting the shows, like they did one, they were roasting My Strange Addiction, and it was a guy who couldn't stop watching porn. And the whole time they're roasting it, he's
not
like, "I
strange.
get it. I love this guy. Like, I get it."
This is
because
not
right,
strange, Beavis.
yeah,
I
they're
totally
like,
agree with
He's
this,
like, "I get
Beavis.
it," and then he's like there's one part he's like,
I like it.
I can't go to work
More
because I gotta
porn.
watch porn. And
More
they're-
porn, Julio.
They're literally laughing. He's like, "This guy's making a big thing. He can't go to work because he's watching porn." And then Butthead's like, "Just don't have a job, then you can do it all day, dumbass." And then they're like, "Yeah, like us."
that's such
And they're
great-
like, right? And it's so
Such great porn.
It's so funny.
Okay,
man.
that is funny.
It's good.
I
It's
was
good.
against this until
I know. I'm telling
Look
you.
at this. Look at this. Mind's changing all over the room.
I really hope too with
Now
them
I see the
doing
vision.
this, they're gonna put the catalog, whether it's on Paramount Plus or whatever. I hope they put the whole catalog.
they gotta put
on.
that shit
They
on
have-
fucking.
especially if this is continuing.
Sell it to fucking NBC.
And
or
do you know how
somebody.
they ended the original run of the show? Beavis and Butthead faked their death, but they don't know. Like Beavis and Butthead, there's a suicide note that gets posted. Someone wrote Beavis and Butthead, and they don't show up to school. So they're having a memorial and everything, and then they come to go get, like, he's like, they want to get a TV because they found a sex tape. They got to find a VCR and a TV, and they go like,
They
the
go to steal
school
the
has
one.
1 million of those. So they go to break in, and there's this memorial service, and it's for them. It's so, and everybody believed they died because they were like the kids that they were the dumbest kids. They were the kids that always got in trouble. So when they pass around that they died, everyone believes it. It's one of the funniest serious endings ever. And I'm pretty sure it ends with everyone looking at them and they just go, "What?" And then they're just like, "Oh, oh," and it fades to black and you just hear that for the end credits. Oh, and you hear people getting mad and walking away. I can't believe they faked their death. And they're like, what? And they're just like, yeah. And it's really.
I can get behind
funny.
this.
It's really funny.
I think it will be a new way to a new pair of glasses to look at the world that we.
I love criticizing the younger generation.
Oh man, oh
So
man.
does everyone before us too.
Right, and I think the idea of making them middle-aged is genius. 'Cause
Yes.
it's Mike Judge too. Like I think he's almost 60, if not 60. So he himself is like he relates probably more to Beavis and Butthead as middle-aged than as teenagers, right? So
and he's always been satirical,
always, that's his thing.
and he
is-
comes and goes,
yeah,
and he can nail it from half court. Like
yeah.
he's always been there, and you can always be like, all right, Mike Judge will have
And that's why I feel
some
like
sort of critique.
If he's deciding now to bring back Beavis and Butthead and do this, it's for a really good reason, and I really think it's what you guys are saying. I think it's totally.
I think he's got something
And
to
the
say.
wor- I
It's
think
gonna
the-
roast.
The world's tipped a little too far to the everything's insulting to everyone, so
Yes.
people can't do it. We need to
That's
tip
right.
the scales back a
That's
little
right.
bit and start insulting everyone again.
That's right. We need to enjoy the fact that we can make fun of
We're all
ourselves.
fucking idiots, people.
It's
Yes.
okay to make fun of ourselves and each other. It's okay. It is fine. You can laugh at yourself. You can It's still okay to laugh when people fall on the ice. I do it all the time. I laugh when I fall on the ice.
Yeah,
Like,
it's you go
come
help
on.
them, go help them after.
That's right.
Like just
That's
you
right.
can laugh, but
It's
go
different
help
if
them.
they fall on the ice, crack their head, and you're like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, brain
That's not
matter.
okay.
Brain matter's not funny.
The scales have to tip just a little bit back.
Just a-
the
Right.
other way.
Yeah.
And I think Mike Judge is like, we need this. We need satire more. Like, don't look up, right?
What
Like,
the world needs now.
yeah, right?
Please
Yeah.
enter with that. That's what they should say.
The world needs now more than ever.
It should be like a supercut of a bunch of like
Well,
super popular.
if you guys rewatch Jackass 3, again, because people forget it's MTV, randomly Beavis and Butthead introduced Jackass 3 because it's in 3D. And why?
That's right.
That's right. And
'Cause I
why?
saw it in the theaters and they
Beavis
came-
is like 3D, and he keeps smacking Beavis, and Beavis is like, ah! It felt real. He's like, that's the 3D, and he's like, wow, it feels real, Beavis. It feels real, Butthead. It feels real. And he keeps smacking him, right? But that's like, and it's exactly what you said. It's like Beavis and Butthead could even be like MTV's Looney Tunes, like before a movie starts.
They're the
it's like,
old guys
let's
on
see
the
a skit
Muppets.
from. Yeah, they are the old. That's totally what they are.
They're
yeah.
they're 2021's old guys on the
Oh.
I
Muppets.
wish
Yeah.
I could think Wallace and something. Yeah.
I never remember their names.
This could be a good thing.
They did pour a cup of water on me though when I went to go see them at Universal Studios.
Really?
I went to the Muppet Experience.
They poured a cup of water on you. That's
Well,
great.
they don't like they
Yeah,
fake
yeah.
it and
Yeah.
then you get sprayed
Right.
with water because
That's
it's
so
a
funny.
4D.
What I hear
It's
though,
so
when you
funny.
get close up, you can tell that they're not real.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They've aged
Yeah,
horribly.
a 14-year-old told me on TikTok that it sucked.
Yeah.
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 Take that. Take your opinion.
God.
And you know where to fucking put it, you 14-year-old.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's about the time that we shut this fucker down. We did miss one. We'll save it for next time. We're not going to tell you what it is because then if you don't like it, you might won't listen. But this has been a blast. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I hope we hope all you,
Hopefully.
yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yay.
Yeah. This is the first one back in the studio. We've got lots of stuff for you that's going to be happening this year. Follow us on all of our social media. If you're new, this is your first time, stick around. There's a little blurb at the end where you can listen on how to get more into the mass debater verse that we're creating
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
I have been Michael Petrow.
I'm Charles Fernandes.
I am Mark Cowell.
That's another Real Debaters production. Watch all the movies. This was fun.
Oh, yay.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.